Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat.
A big, momentous episode.
We are revealing the story and the thoughts of one of I don't even want to say Los Angeles, that's too small. I don't want to say entertainment industry. One of the most mysterious men on the planet right now.
On the planet, for sure.
Zack Bia.
Zack Bia is in the building with our good friend John Terzian.
You might have heard Delilah, word to Zack. You might have seen Drake walking around in a Bia jersey.
Yes.
You might have seen him with, some of the famous women that he's dated.
You may see him at the front row in Fashion Week.
And you may have Googled who his father is.
And we reveal
the answers.
What's going on there.
Part of the way that we got our questions for this interview is we just Googled what people are asking about Zack Bia.
Fascinating person. If you don't know who Zack is and you listen to this podcast, you should, because I think it will open your eyes to the world you may not be aware of.
Yep.
If you know who Zack is, you're going to love it because it shows.
Just a chat with Zack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just shows a little bit of where his brain is and what he's working on in the future.
Yeah, it was great. It was exciting and excited to see what a 24-year-old man has to say.
And what makes a 24-year-old man that is hanging out with all the coolest kids in the world feel old?
I couldn't believe it.
Shocked.
I at that point, I thought I was dead.
At 24, if you already feel old, we're dead.
We're dead. We're a corpse.
Okay. Yes. Well, speaking of another corpse, he's also joined by John Terzian.
John Terzian.
Our good friend. And also a bit of Zack's, I would say, mentor. We also refer to him as his father.
His father.
So it was one of the answers.
One of the answers.
Who his father is. But John always is great to have on the pod, but also offers good perspective because we've known Zack for years, really through John and Brian.
Yeah.
And so John's seen firsthand his rise to superstardom.
And John, our good friend, is co-founder of the H-Wood Group, kind of the hottest hospitality group in the world.
Yep.
And Zack is someone that started working with them, and now they work with them in a different capacity because he's taken off.
And then we have a lot to go over. So a big weekend as far as the internet is concerned.
Yes.
Big weekend of selling, Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Cyber Monday's yet to come, but we'll see. Jake Paul. Dave Chappelle.
Wow.
The unfortunate news about Tony Hsieh.
R.I.P.
We got a lot to cover. So this is a long episode. All of you who said you wanted longer episodes, this one's for you.
And we have a very special shout out at the end. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing
find a human being a home. Stay tuned to the very end. Okay. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey guys.
Happy Cyber Monday.
Happy Cyber Monday. Happy Black Friday weekend. Happy weekend full of internet. This is a weekend for the internet.
The internet won big over the weekend.
I'm sure Black Friday internet sales were
record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cyber Monday is, internet holiday.
Mm-hmm.
A famous YouTuber made headline news.
Yep.
But we'll talk about all that in a minute. We are joined by maybe the most mysterious. I can't even call him a celebrity, because I'm sure he wouldn't want that. He's way more than that, which we'll get into. The most mysterious man in LA.
Definitely.
I'll take it.
Zack Bia.
Kind words.
And also our good friend John Terzian is back.
With the beard.
With a beard and like a goatee.
He lost the bet. Terz lost the bet.
It's a whole new look.
Oh, you had to do a goatee if you lost?
Yeah, till January 2nd.
I like it. You look a little bit more tough.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
You look a little more Armenian.
It's a little more bikerish to me.
I like that.
Okay, so we got Zack. Zack, is this your first podcast ever?
I believe this is my podcast debut.
Wow.
Okay, so this is special.
This is huge for me.
So here's my kickoff, right? Is we've known Zack for years now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We've seen him really glow up, as the kids call it.
Yeah.
Like,
Is
you know
that what the kids call it?
That's what they
Glow
call
up.
it, yeah.
It's like your skin is glowing.
It's just when you glow up. I don't really know the origin.
Okay.
Let's
I'd
call
say
it
the origin probably traces back to Chief Keef.
Chief Keef, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
There you
I'm
go.
already learning
See?
the
Oh,
I thought it was a Latin word, you know.
No. I think it's
Chief Keef and the Glory
Chief
Boys.
Keef, our brother.
Yeah.
Glow Boys. Glow up.
Okay.
So we've seen the glow up, and I will say,
Were you
like,
just trying to show your cool drama with that
come
glow
on,
up?
man.
Damn,
Come
you're
on.
trying to flex on it.
I'm
Did
a
you
young
look up
one.
some words
I'm
to
the
impress
Zack Bia.
Zach?
I'm the Zack Bia of group chat. Let me just say. So we've seen the glow up, and then I would say, like, you know, I've lived in LA now for 14 years. You guys have been here your whole life. We've seen some glow ups. I would say Zach's might be number one that I've witnessed. We've seen Post Malone sleeping on our couch at Coachella.
Yeah.
We've seen, I mean, you could run you guys have seen some crazy ones.
Yeah.
Zach's crazy world of how he's navigated and who he's now become. We're now in the world of streetwear. I would say full-on celebrity, business, music industry. He's this mysterious figure. He has Drake wearing his name on the back of jerseys.
That's insane.
All of these, and people are like, who the fuck?
You know what's so crazy is I Googled Zack Bia right before I came here. Just curious.
International man of mystery.
And the things people are searching for. Okay. Zack Bia's dad was the first one.
Probably
You got to try to
John
explain
Terzian?
it.
Probably number one.
Number one is Zack
You got
Bia's
to.
dad.
Everyone's looking for an explanation.
It's actually
Because-
good. It's actually good that John's here.
Yes.
We
I mean,
finally
even
found
when
him.
Zach first came around, I thought it was like a distant cousin.
How about the fact that, not to cut you off, the first time I ever went to a club, and I didn't know. Keep in mind, it's my 19th birthday, so I don't know how anything works. We just show up to the club because we went to Shore Bar on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was a Monday night, was my birthday. And we're like, where do we go tonight? And they're like, there's this place, Hooray Henry's, you guys should go there. So we show up to the club, a bunch of friends of ours, 10 p.m. in suits. And Brick, who I didn't know at the time, and Isabella Lou and all these people and whoever else, Brian Grimmel, whatever, was like, look, it's a mini Turs.
They said that on day one.
I didn't work
LT.
at the club.
This is before even
This is
you
the first time I ever went to the club. I didn't meet John till
Oh, so
9
you didn't
months
even know
later,
what
a
a
year later.
Turs
That's cool.
was.
No, I didn't know what it was.
Manifest destiny.
I go, who is that? They go, it's the owner. It's the owner. And then I saw Brian Toll.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what his name
You're
was.
like, I don't look
and
like
they're
that
like,
guy.
that guy's the owner. I'm like, I don't look like this guy.
I don't look like a little dweeb, Brian.
It's definitely true.
And then John walked up, and it was like the moment from the movie.
It was the Spider-Man meme where you're like,
That's unbelievable. And I
That's
think
good.
Did Brian try to tax you on your 19th birthday?
they made us buy a bottle at the bar.
Let's make it clear that we were at an establishment where a 19-year-old is allowed.
Yes, I was going to gloss over that. I was going to gloss the irony of him going to Hooray Henry's on his 19th birthday is we were at that same location for our 19th birthdays,
Correct.
probably called Guys.
Correct.
Guys and Dolls also.
Yes,
like,
that was
before
just
my
20
time.
years earlier.
Yeah.
And I was
I might have
too.
been there for my 19th birthday
I
too.
actually was. It was
Yeah.
my sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
And Brian just had Big D let me in.
Yeah. So it's like a rite of passage.
That's when we were all glowing up.
Yeah.
Not quite the same.
We didn't really glow up.
Not quite the same.
I was a nerdy Indian kid. And I think the most fascinating thing
Wait,
about
one other thing.
Yeah.
What else did you find in the Google search?
well, that's what I kept going.
Okay.
So this Zack Bia dad, and then obviously, you know, how much is Zack Bia worth?
Yep, that's
How
all.
does Zack Bia make money? Why is Zack Bia famous?
Okay.
Zack Bia and his ex-girlfriends, which is, you know, a who's who list.
Yep.
And
Welcome to the podcast world, Zach.
It's a nice list.
Yeah, it's a hell of a list.
Nice list.
It's a
Hell of
great
a
list.
list, yep.
And I think the Zack Bia dad thing was the most interesting thing because what it told me about just society in general is that there's no way this fucking kid can be at where he's at, doing what he's doing, unless his family came from something.
Yep.
And that, I think, blows people's mind away that that's not the case.
They don't know that's not the case. They still don't believe it.
They still don't, because I read
That's
something
actually a
Zack
compliment.
Bia's dad is the CEO of Dior.
I'm like, I wish Bernard Arnault was my dad.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't think he's French.
That'd be a nice life.
Yeah, that's a compliment, man. I think when people can't explain I mean, look, I've known you since who
Forever.
knows how long.
Yeah, probably
and
6 years.
I can't. I want to know who your dad is.
Oh, man.
I can't explain how it happened, right? So what I'm saying is, you should be proud of that. Like, it's like the way that you've navigated this at such a young age. People need an excuse. They need a like, who's to blame for this? Because there's no way this just happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's pretty interesting because like our podcast is predominantly about business, and I hate to use this word because that's not what you're doing, but your network and your ability to be around all walks of life, and most people, John knows, most people we can't put in a room with anyone important, anyone who's famous, because they'll fuck it up.
Correct.
We just know. We are so I know John walks around eggshells all day with like, oh shit, my high school buddy's here and fucking Drake's here. And that's it. It's over. It's like
And high school buddy is deep.
No, but it's just like we know that like even I'm on like that if I'm around anyone famous that I brought around, I'm like, ugh. You never know. And a 19-year-old Zach is able to understand that, and because people in the business world go out, you know, when you're writing, you know, you graduate from school, USC, you go to your first networking event, that fucking kid is so annoying.
Yeah.
He's walking up to every single person. Yeah. Hey, my name is John.
No one wants a networker.
Yeah, no one wants.
They need to teach the anti-networking class.
So that's, I think that's the most magical thing. Cause like you met Zach at 19.
That might be our next brand.
At 19, like how do you even navigate like being around those types of people? Because if you go on Zach's Instagram and see who follows him, it's the most ridiculous people on earth.
So let's kind of dial back. So when you were first around A-listers, what was your reaction?
I think it's sort of weird to like think about yourself in that way, and because I didn't think about it, so it was like I guess maybe a natural temperament that allowed me. Also, I think a lot of guidance from John, but John and I never had a conversation of don't move this way or move this way. I think it's because I was already acting that way that he was like, I can empower this kid.
Correct.
But I never, like when I first started working at the club and everything like that, I never planned on working at the club. I fell into it completely by accident.
Can we tell that story? Can we dial it all the way back since this is your first podcast? Like, how did this come about?
Short story long. We're bringing it back.
Yeah, let's answer the question. This is the question.
Is that what it used to be? Short story long?
That was drama's.
It all comes back to Fetty Wap.
That's a sick name. Yeah. So by the way, to this day,
we credit Fetty.
I credit Fetty Wap with my
rise to
with my success, whatever success I have.
That's who Zack Bia's dad is.
Yeah, that's my
Finally,
that's my real father.
Finally figured it out.
I've told this story, but I'll tell it again because it's pretty funny. So the 19th birthday at Hooray Henry's, this is at the peak Fetty Wap. So Trap Queen is the biggest it's ever been. He just dropped the My Way remix with Drake.
Great song.
So this is like peak
Great
Fetty. He has
time.
2 huge hits.
yeah.
It's a whole new like sound, whatever. And he's performing at Hooray Henry's the night of my birthday. So it's June 8th on a Monday. My birthday is the 9th. So at midnight's my birthday. And I think his birthday is June 7th. So he walks in the club, and keep in mind, we're 4 kids in suits. And we're like, yo, Fetty Wap, Fetty Wap, Fetty Wap. We're being those annoying kids.
Yes.
Yo, Fetty.
And you were at USC at the time, right?
I was about to start.
Oh, you're about to
It was the
start,
summer
so-
right before
okay.
USC. And he's like, we're like, yo, Fetty. And he's like, being pretty nice, actually. He's like, what's going on? How are you guys? And then,
I thought, like, who are these kids?
Who are these kids? He's like, these kids look funny, whatever.
Sketchy.
And we're like, I'm like, it's my birthday. They're like, my friend's like, it's his birthday. I'm like, yeah, it's my birthday, whatever. I'm actually like kind of in the back, like, whatever. They're like, it's his birthday. I'm like, yeah, it's my birthday. They're like, he's like, oh, word, it was my birthday last night. Like, what's your name? We're Geminis. What's going on? Daps me up, gives me like a 2-minute conversation, then goes on with his night. So it's our first night in the club. We think it's the best place we've ever been to in our entire lives, which at the time it's still, nostalgia looking back on it. Like, that's my favorite place ever.
Yeah.
Because those are like the first places I ever went to. And it's so funny. I'll talk to John. He'll be like, Hooray Henry's was a disaster. I'm like, that was the best place ever. Yeah. But also, I was looking at different things. I didn't know since I didn't know anything about nightlife or hospitality. I didn't know that people had different tables. I didn't know what promoters were. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So I just see this place that's dark with lights moving and there's rappers performing. I'm like, this place is incredible. We don't know. It's our first taste of it.
Yeah.
So it's like so magic at the time. And Fetty's performing. And in between the 2 songs, he's like, keep in mind, we're dancing in front of the DJ booth because we don't have a table. So we're like the only kids that are like in the whatever GA of the section of the club.
Yeah.
And Fetty's like, happy birthday, Zach. Gemini's in the building, like big ups, have a great night, whatever. Then it's like 1:50. He's done performing. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by. The club's about to close. There's like 5 minutes left. And his security waves me over to his table. So I'm like, he's talking to me? Whatever. I go over to his table, puts some Remy Martin in my hand, puts his arm around me. He's like, so what's good? How was your birthday? And he starts making conversation with me.
Wow.
He's like, how was your night? I don't know what he was like.
Fetty was feeling you.
Fetty was just like, this is a good kid. It's his birthday. Like, let's have, and all my friends are in like, you know, nowhere near the table, like looking at me like, you're going crazy. Like,
Oh, he pulled you away from
he pulled me
your
away from
friends.
everyone. I'm by myself.
So you're the special
I'm by myself in the corner near the DJ booth, like that
Yeah, I remember
little
that.
spot, you know, on the left. And some kid comes up to me and gets my number thinking this is like the approachable kid in Fetty's camp. Like, I don't want to go to one of his security guards or I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, let me go get this kid's number. He's probably the assistant or the intern or something,
Yeah.
the runner. Let me get this kid's number. He'll be able to get Fetty out to the club because Fetty's popping right now.
Yeah.
So they're thinking I'm like the connection to Fetty.
Yeah.
So for the next month,
You did have a suit on.
and by the way, you guys know this kid.
Yeah.
His name is Tav.
Okay. That's amazing.
So Tav, who's
The
also
best.
like 19 at the time,
Yeah. Hustler.
gets my number. To this day, I saw Tav like maybe a couple months ago, and I was like laughing about this Fetty story. And he showed me his phone. My contact is still Zach Fetty Wap in his phone. So for the next like month or so, he's inviting me out. What are you and the guys doing tonight? But I'm not
You're
lying.
thinking of your four homies
I'm
in
not
suits. Like,
lying.
I don't know.
I'm not. I know what he means.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, yo, I'm not with Fetty, but I'm not like I am with Fetty. You know, I'm not lying. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know what me and the guys are doing.
And then the guys, I don't know, we
Nice.
sit Del Taco and everyone.
Lesson number one.
Me and the guys are at Spud Nuts next to USB. I don't know what me and the guys are doing. And he would just invite me out. And then I went to Hooray Henry's maybe like 4 Mondays in a row. And then I went to this random party in Hollywood. And there's this guy who stops me outside named Jermaine. Jaja. He's like,
Yeah,
and, you know, such a legend, like such an underground legend. He would work at the club and then he was doing all these other parties. Like he was throwing all kinds of crazy parties and he would do like dial-up parties with Pedro and do these things in Silver Lake and do these underground bars.
He still
in Hollywood.
does. He's like the
he's a
ultimate
like-
culture.
Yeah, he's super cool.
Jaja's a legend. But he would work at the club on Monday nights. And it was like his one night that he'd be like on this side of town. So I'm at one of his parties randomly. And he stops me outside and he's like, yo, are you that new kid that works at Hooray Henry's? And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, I've seen you there 5 Mondays in a row. I work on the Monday. Do you want a job? And I'm like, he's like, you have a cool little crew, cool little style. I'll pay you $100. You can come work on Mondays. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like this seems good. This seems great. You know, I didn't have any way to make money at the time, and I was just about to start college. I needed some extra cash, and I was like, and I get into this place that we were paying to get into, now getting paid to go. This seems like the greatest idea of all time.
Damn, that's how it all started.
And Jermaine is who
And Jermaine, who's super
introduced me to him.
and
Said you have to know
who's
this kid.
who's like sort of the opposite of all these nightlife people.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone in nightlife sort of likes to keep all their contacts to themselves and very possessive. He was like super empowering, where he was like, "You're doing such a good job. You know, I want to put you on email with this guy John, who owns the club." And so I put you on email with John. And before John and I even met, John's like, "Yeah, I heard a couple good things about what you're doing on a Monday. We opened this other spot, Blind Dragon. You should work there." Boom, boom, boom. So like throughout the course of a couple months, I sort of kept like adding new nights of the week that I would work. So I would work like the Monday party, Thursday party here, Friday party there. And I would just like sort of started working at the club.
But let's get back to the 4 Mondays. What did you do to grab the attention of the main promoter?
Nothing. We just were showing up like.
Do you have hot girls with you?
We just had like it was just kids we grew up with. Like we were just like cool kids that were like.
Were they
dressed.
famous?
No,
Just being himself.
no. We had no famous friends. I didn't know a single famous person. I mean,
You knew Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap.
He was the plug.
Have you talked to Fetty Wap again?
So here's the thing.
I don't think we've seen him
Zach
since.
won't even take Fetty's call.
No,
Does anyone know where Fetty is?
listen, I don't care.
Still love him.
I don't care about like Instagram and
really
who
do.
follows who and who does this, you know, whatever. Like that's all cool and stuff. But seriously, like the one person who's never answered my DM is Fetty Wap.
Still.
I've DM'd him like a couple times, like, yo, you changed my life. Like, I want to speak to you one day, whatever. And like, he doesn't hit me back.
Fetty. Come on, Fetty.
Oh my god!
I think drama can solve that. We
Drama
get some
spreads
internet.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
I follow
It's
him.
been a long time.
I'll comment on his picture sometimes, like, you're going crazy. Like, I'm like, I swear.
He hasn't seen you on like Drake's Instagram.
No.
That's the kid that changed his life.
Maybe he's better.
I mean,
He's like, this guy's bigger than me.
No.
Maybe that's why he ended up where he's at. Is he's not good at putting two and two together here. Remember whose
He's a
contact
legend.
to
He's a
say.
legend in my books, no matter what. I might
Yeah.
start wearing Robin jeans again. I swear.
So you know what else I want to understand and also like explain is like, so what was your job in the beginning? What did it look like?
So literally, I basically get the job the first week I start at USC. And obviously no one shows up to the club till 11:45. My job was come with 50 of your friends at like 10:30.
Yeah.
So that when the first people start trickling in, there's already a party going on.
So you going around
But we
USC?
didn't know, we don't really know. We're just like kids. Like I'm meeting new kids. The first 6 months of school, you're meeting 100 new kids every day. All everyone wants to do is meet new friends. You're going from dorm room to dorm room, frat house, this, that, buildings. You're meeting kids every day.
Yeah.
And these are all kids who come from Connecticut, Minnesota, this, that. They've never been to
All walks of life.
All walks of life.
Yeah.
They don't never been to LA. They've never been to a club. And we were like the only kids that were like, yo, college parties, but why don't you come to the club?
Yeah.
And so we were like the first introduction. And we were throwing like basically like it was like college kids coming out with us.
Got it.
It's actually valuable life lessons.
And
It really is.
for
You're
sure.
changing lives here.
For
You're
sure.
not even realizing
no, but-
it.
what was
Think
cool-
about it. If you can do that at that age and do it naturally, you can do anything in business.
Yeah.
What was cool about it was like we had friends that like wanted to start DJing that like would be practicing like in their dorm room, and we'd be like, yo, why don't you DJ the club like before it even opens? Like, you know, open for the opener.
Yeah.
DJ from like 10:30 to 11:30 when no one's in the room except for our friends.
Yeah.
So they're the man.
Yeah.
I'm DJing the coolest club for
Yeah.
my 50 USC friends, the coolest club in LA, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So like we're giving them like no one's getting paid. Like they're just like opening. And we're basically filling the club up with 100 kids that come from all over. And as, you know, as we're sort of navigating, we're not approaching the club from club people's perspective. We're not thinking we want to get like model girls and celebrities. We're just like people that we like let's just invite them out.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it's kids with common interests, and a lot of kids are like up and coming DJs, up and coming artists, up and coming this. And so we're just bringing all our friends out and cultivating like this little crew of people that want to go out. And the funniest thing was I had to actually write a paper on an entrepreneur for my entrepreneurship class. And I asked John, I hadn't even met John in person, but we like exchanged some emails and I'm working for him. And I'm like, can I come interview for my thing? And he's like, oh, you go to USC? Of course, you know, I'll always make time for USC student, whatever. So I go to meet with John and we just start talking, and like our 20-minute meeting turns into like an hour and a half. We're talking about all these things. We realize how we're so similar in a lot of ways. And so basically I start interning for Hwood. So I'm going to school in the mornings, interning on my days off, and then working at the club at night. And while I'm interning, my friend who's the up and coming DJ kid that's opening for the opener, he's also interning. And we basically overhear this conversation. Well, he overhears this conversation about how one of the nights, the Wednesday nights at Blind Dragon, aren't doing so well. Like Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays doing great, but Wednesday, like they don't really have a party going on there. And he basically barges in and he's like, me and Zach will take over the night. And then he tells me like, yo, we're gonna take over the night. Like he just made the decision for both of us. And then they're like, you know, Brian, John, these guys, like these kids don't know how to run a nightclub.
Yeah.
And Parker, who's obviously, you know, legendary creative director, doorman, whatever, all these different things. He's like, no, give the night to the kids. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah.
Pulls me and my friend Henry aside and he's like, writes on a piece of paper, like, ask for this. Ask for like these kind of percentages and breaks it down for us.
Dang,
Parker negotiated against Brian and John.
Listen, we did something that was like, you know, we had a sliding scale. So depending on how much money the night made, we got a bigger percentage.
It was good.
Which is a very safe bet. And this, you know, they're not expecting anything. And we get back to like grassroots. We're like making Facebook events. And we're like, we have our own night at the club.
What's it called?
It was called Whisper Wednesdays.
Nice.
You had to know about it. You know what I mean?
Got it.
We were so stupid. We were like 19 years old. We didn't know yet. And we're like making Facebook events, making flyers on our phones, sending out to everyone. And like, I always like, I'm inviting kids that like I meet out at like cool, like I was hanging out at 424 a lot on Fairfax, and I'm inviting the kids who like work there. And I'm, it's not like no one famous is coming, but we're just inviting all the kids, like college kids, skater kids, Fairfax kids, whatever. And the first night, and since it's our own night, we get to run the door.
Yeah.
We have our own like rules with the door. We get to pick who we want. We get to set the prices. So it's not $3,000 for a table. It's like 500 for a table. We're just, we're like adjusting the whole thing. And the night ends up going crazy. Hundreds of people outside can't get in. The night does like $35,000.
Wow.
And they're all like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Brian perked up.
Brian's like,
$35,000.
Brian's like, let's renegotiate these percentages. We're giving these kids far too much money.
That's basically what happened.
Tell me I have to write an $8,000 check to them.
And I'm walking out with my first, like we're splitting it, me and my friend. We're hiring our friends to DJ. So he's DJing, my friend's DJing for free. We have like Dylan Davis and those kids are like the headline DJs. And also this is like we were plugging in whatever we thought was cool every week. So every week we're like scrambling to put a night together. Mm-hmm. And it'd be like ASAP Blue would be like, yeah, me, we're Cozy Boys, we're DJing. Which by the way, rest in peace to Jay Scott, who's obviously an amazing DJ, but they would come around and like they hadn't really been DJing the club scene in LA. And they'd be like, let's do it. So we'd be like ASAP Blue, Jay Scott, Cozy Boys next Wednesday. Like we would just find things, just plug them in.
Yeah.
424 sneaker release, whatever we could think of, and just throw these Wednesday nights. And the Wednesday nights started getting so crazy that the week after, so week one we go nuts. Week two the hype's even bigger because week one was so crazy. So it's the same thing. Hundreds of kids can't get in, but Rihanna wants to come do karaoke there, completely unrelated to the Wednesday night. She just wants to come. Comes and does karaoke, and she's like, yo, this party's insane in there. Yeah. And comes in and starts partying. And she's like, this is this energy in here. Like, these are college kids who've never been to the club. So they're not standing around their phones. They're dancing. They're whatever. And she's like, this is insane. So it's like week two, another $35,000, and Rihanna came.
Yeah. That was week two?
Yeah, that's week two.
Oh my God.
John, I was way too old to be attending Wednesday nights. Is this similar to Banana Split Sundays back in the day?
Yes, because it's the reason.
And explain Banana Split Sundays.
That was at LAX.
LAX Sundays, and it was DJ AM and Aoki put it together. And
Coolest
the idea
party.
was you put a keg in the center and let you put all the too cool stuff aside, and it's a dance party.
Yeah,
right?
Sick.
That's technically what this is. So it's like everyone's gotten too annoying and too cool. Have just a fun party, dance party. Don't worry about the tables. That's basically what they were doing, whether they knew it or not.
Yeah, it was unknowingly doing that because
That's exactly it.
It's so funny. Some of my friends that are like some of my most accomplished, successful friends who run businesses and are like tycoons of their industry, I asked them like, what was the best thing for you when you started this business? And like the best thing that could have ever happened to me was not knowing anything about the business.
Yeah.
And in a way, let me explain it further. It's like, had I known friends who make clothes, had I gone into it like, oh, I have to do wholesale and respect the seasons and do a collection and do this whole thing, I wouldn't have built what I built. I built a direct to consumer. I built it off how I wanted it to be ran. I do pop-ups and I do collabs and we drop shit whenever we want or whatever. And it's like, because now you can, build things that weren't how you could do them before. Now there's so much power in direct to consumer. There's so much power in online. There's so much like everyone's thinking you have to do a collection, then you have to get a billboard and you have to run an ad and do this. It's like a pop-up is a billboard that makes money rather than a sunken cost. Like you can go, kids can interact with the brand firsthand. It's energy. It's like this street level energy that whatever. And it applies to all kinds of things, makeup, whatever.
Yeah. I think the thing about it that your age group is doing for every industry is that there's no more rules.
Exactly.
Like before, everyone told you, even if you were even your ascent in nightlife, that probably for regular people in nightlife, who's career nightlife people, they're like, what the fuck?
I took a lot of heat for it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, he hasn't been doing XYZ. I'm like, so what? He's doing it better than you.
I think that really is. It's kind of the Silicon Valley thinking that you just brought it to a different industry. It's like boundaries don't matter. Why does Uber work? Random people that are just driving, it's unused capacity. They should be able to take people and make money. Airbnb, Same exact thing.
Your place is sitting there.
Yeah, your place is sitting there.
People want to come visit.
Yeah. And it's basically like limiting boundaries. And I think you apply that same thinking to how you started in nightlife. Like, why should someone tell me this is how a party's supposed to be run? Mm-hmm. Why, if I want to do a clothing line, this is how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
And I think what's cool is that like the other people embraced it too. So like from my perspective in fashion, I don't know, maybe like a year or 2 years ago, out in Paris Fashion Week, I'm sitting back row at most fashion shows. I'm nobody. I see Zach front fucking row at every goddamn show.
Oh my God.
And even shows that I can't get into, like Louis Vuitton and Dior. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, what the hell is going on? Because these Louis Vuitton, LVMH is a, $50 billion company. They're not people
way more, 100+ billion.
On the revenue.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying like
I think Bernard's worth over 100.
Yeah, so the stock's worth more. But the point being is that like you see these multinational companies clearly value something because they don't just let anyone sit front row at a fashion show.
Right.
And then I think that was like my eye opening. I was like, wow, there's something about either taste level, who he is as a person. Obviously relationships, because I visited his home recently and every brand on earth is sending him shit.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. That just tells you that like there's something that corporate America sees also that like we have to be in like business with Zach because
you're gonna fear of missing out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what the real reason in my opinion is. As someone that sells stuff to youth culture, most people that has influence over youth culture are fucking morons. You can't even have a conversation with them, right? You try to sit across with them and their manager, and it's like, oh my God, I cannot believe we have to do business with this person.
Correct.
And then you come across a Zach who has the same influence, and you can have. I mean, obviously he's sitting here. We could never have a rapper on the show because they wouldn't be able to hold a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, we tried Fetty Wap. He won't respond to
I think a lot of people don't know that too about Zach.
Yeah, I think that's a misconstrued kind of just hearing about it.
He gets the aloof brand a lot. I hear it.
I think one of the craziest things about you, Zach, is like, and not to oversimplify by any means, but like, your ability to just be able to sit and have a conversation with anyone, whether it's John's high school buddy that Dee was talking about, or Drake, or whatever.
Legends, by the way. It's
Legends.
John's high school buddy.
Yeah.
Because I went to Miami for Super Bowl. Was it Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And
the whole
that's when the whole crew was there.
And John had his whole crew with them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And, by choice and by blessing that they're letting me hang out with them, they're like, I'm gonna hang out with them every day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lunch with these guys, and like these guys are incredible.
Yeah. No, but it's cool that you can navigate that because that's so important in business. That's the number one kind of lesson you learn in life is that if people don't like you, they won't do business with you.
But I also think that is an element of humility because I know who John's close high school friends are. They're all very successful business people, right? And the guy who's hanging out with Drake would typically be like, oh, fuck these nerds. But he's willing to have that perspective. Like, I can learn and talk to these folks.
That's the thing is he's with everybody. That's what's taking him to where he is now and probably to the next level.
No, I mean, I'm extremely even like humbled to even be having these conversations with you guys. And like hearing all these amazing things you guys have to say about me. It's sort of weird to hear all these nice things about you.
One brand did have him second row, and I heard about it. He was not happy.
Oh,
not happy. Oh, you complained.
It's not
not happy. That's when I knew he was a star.
I think I know. Let me think what the brand was.
That's how I knew.
All the qualities.
He's lying. He's trying to embellish the story.
It was a great story.
Okay, so I
Called me. He's like, they have me second row, John. I was like, just walk out, man. Just walk out.
Wait, actually, you
I think I know the brand you mentioned it.
We won't name it on
By the
this.
way, I did walk out.
You did.
Yeah,
Of course.
You got to.
I remember at the Amiri show, you showed up late and they just like kicked some guy out. You're like, get the fuck out of here. Zach's staying here.
That's incredible.
But this other brand is a great brand and
Fine people.
Fine people.
I wasn't supposed to go to the show. The day of, they're like, well, come to our show, and John's like, you should go. And I've never been to any of their shows before, whatever.
You can't invite and then have second row.
Yeah.
And then they're like, please come, like whatever, we'll send you some close to your hotel. You should come. And I don't have no relationship with this brand, and we go, and I guess maybe since it was last minute, they gave me a seat second row, and I'm cool. I have no ego in any of this, but it's just like
I actually appreciated it. I was like, this is
John
how
was
I know.
Yeah, walk out.
I guess that's a
move.
business move more than a ego move, right?
That's marketing.
Yeah, it is marketing. Just being like, don't be disrespectful. Put me in the second row and ask me to come.
Can't invite Zach to come.
And then, so where does this all lead you to? Because most people I know that were very successful club promoters at a young age.
They're real estate agents.
Well, at best, they're real estate agents. I would say that's a successful club promoter.
Yep.
That would say that they're like, oh, I know all these people. Now they're old and they have money. I'm going to go work at the agency. So that's like one path. You've already kind of navigated out of that, and I know you're in music.
Yep.
You're in fashion.
Yep.
Like, what's your site? Like, where are you heading? What's your music thing about? Tell us about
we
that.
have a record label, independent record label. I have an amazing partner named James Canton, who used to run management at Electric Feel. So obviously, they manage some of the biggest producers, some of the biggest artists in the world. So he came from like the management side. Doesn't work with us on Field Trip, but like, one of our close. We'll go back. I think we're doing, what was it? A long story short. Short story long.
Yeah.
I'll give you like the medium story.
Medium story long, longer.
Basically, I'd always been working with artists. So sort of my avenue was either like being in the studio with them and like sort of like, hearing being a part of that process of the music being made, and then sort of breaking the records through parties and through, how people talk about seeding a list for clothes. It's like we're also seeding out the music.
Yeah.
So like we'd be like the first people to play a song or play an artist before they blew up, and it's like we're in this room with 100 people. 95 of them are some of the 95 most influential people in the world, and we're not playing this song because we have anything to do with it. We just think this artist is like the coolest new thing, and Pedro's DJing or I'm DJing or whatever. We're playing these songs, and the next day then these people are reposting the song and their fans are discovering the song. So we kept sort of like, being a part of that process or finding kids early. And I'd be like, John, like, please, can I have $2,500 to book this kid for the club? Like, he's going to blow up or whatever. And we'd always book, we were the first people to book every artist.
Yeah.
I remember we did a Dior party at Poppy, and I had to sneak Sheck into the club because that night Dior was taking over the list and we had no jurisdiction over it. And obviously I know how to get through.
Your dad, the CEO of
my dad, the
Dior.
CEO of Dior. Didn't want to put my friend on the list.
Dior.
And then John.
We should make it clear his dad is not the CEO of Dior.
And then John, my other father, apparently,
Yes, they have that on there too.
didn't want me to sneak my friend in. So I went to the garage and brought Sheck up the back elevator and snuck him in the party anyways. And it was like a Bella Dior makeup launch, whatever. And it's super corporate. It's champagne clinging and all these corporate people. But obviously they want that energy. They want the kid energy and they want the party energy. And Chase B's DJing.
Chase B is Travis Scott's DJ.
Yeah, and Chase B's DJing. But it's still, and he's playing corporate stuff and keeping everyone happy. And then Sheck comes in and we play Mo Bamba. Yeah. And all our friends erupt. Yeah. And this is before the song's going. The song's been, keep in mind, that song popped off a year later. Yeah. So the song is like this is really a New York, LA song at the time, just for our friends. And Bella, biggest smile on her face, dancing, moshing, the whole thing.
Bella Hadid.
Yeah. And the Dior people are like, this is incredible. Yeah. And I'm like, this is the guy you weren't letting me bring in. Yeah. And I don't say anything, but it's like sort of like we're doing all these type of things. I'm always in the studio. We're always playing new songs. We're always doing all these things. And James is working in management forever. He was working at 360 before that. And then Julian is like one of the hottest up and coming A&Rs. So he signed Lil Tecca, Conan Gray, all these amazing things. He used to be a producer. Produced Deja Vu for Bieber and Post, and then got into the A&R game, and now he's the senior vice president at Republic. And our friend, who's like another OG of ours, who 100% won't let me say his name, sits us down at Nice Guy. He calls us, puts us on a text. He's like, I want to meet with the three of you guys. Come meet me at Nice Guy. So we go sit down with him, and he's like, yo, so you guys have all been doing these different things in different areas of music. You guys should start your own thing. And let me know. I'll put the money up or whatever. And since I was a little kid, I always said I wanted to own a record label since I was like 11 years old. Mm-hmm. And basically the next day, James quit his job at Electric Feel. Wow. Julian's always going to be a part of things, but he's working at Republic. And then we built this company, and our friend put the money up for it. And basically what's cool about it is the same thing. We go back to clothing or whatever business is like, we don't have to follow any type of traditional route. So we've been finding kids and signing them to all kinds of different deals. Some of them we partner with them on their own label venture, which is a sub-label of ours, or Mallory, who's like this amazing singer-songwriter from New York who signed to us, lives out here now. She signed to us, and then we did an upstream deal at Warner Records. So now Warner and us are partner on it, on her specifically, but not on our label overall. So it allows us to find the right home for all of our artists. Some of them we can keep independent, some we can sign to Republic, some Interscope, some whatever. And regardless, it's like, you know, we can just move strategically in that way. So we're just building out the label now, signing more acts, figuring it all out.
That's amazing.
Field Trip is the label called.
Field Trip Records.
Is that the main focus? I know you also have a clothing line.
So the thing with, you know, my heart's always, I grew up in fashion, like people don't know. My mom was a model agent in Paris, model agent in New York, and started becoming a casting director, casting a lot of shows and stuff in New York. And then it's so funny because I haven't started seeing people that maybe knew my mom until like this year. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like she bestowed connections upon me, but she was actually at my house early this morning. I had breakfast with my mom, and she even today we're talking about music, and she sent me like a list of like, these are so many songs that you should send to Mallory or whatever. So my whole taste and everything was all definitely from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, we had the stereo system at the house in Brooklyn, and she was playing me every week was like education and like a new genre.
Yeah.
This is Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. The week after, this is Big Daddy Kane. This is Tupac. This is this, whatever. And it's educating me every week and taking me to like, you know, she's single mom, so she's taking me to shows and like just go sit in the corner. And I'm sitting at these shows, and it's like the Calvin Klein show, and it's like you know, Bianca Jagger, and I'm like singing Rolling Stones songs to her because I just learned about the Rolling Stones, and my mom's like, no, they got divorced, like don't, you know, whatever.
That's how you first learned.
So like, you know, my growing up,
funny.
I was always around. Like I remember, my mom did a casting for a show, and she was dating Mick Jagger, funny enough, the designer. And the Rolling Stones did a, and Mick sits in all the castings and does the stuff and whatever. And he's sitting with my mom, they're casting all these models for the show. And they did a Scorsese documentary on the Stones, and they did a private showing for it. It's like 13, 14 people were invited, and he loved Mick, and they just loved my mom, and they invited her and me to come. And I watched this documentary with them, whatever. I go straight from school, so I'm still like in my school uniform. And I guess my mom and Mick had been talking about me over the course of the last couple of weeks. And then I see Mick after the movie, and he's like, so Zach, how'd you like my movie? And I'm like, no one at school is going to believe me.
Yeah.
You know? Like I met Mick Jagger. 15, he knows 16? My name, whatever. And so my mom always like had these cool experiences.
Yeah.
So she really like molded, you know, everything that I liked, and she was always taking me to go skateboard in Lower East Side and buying me new skate shoes, and I think sort of fed my addiction for sneakers in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
I will say, if he's hanging out with Mick Jagger in high school,
Yeah, Drake's no big deal.
Not
Exactly.
even. I'm like 8 years old when I met Mick Jagger. Like
Wow.
9 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it wasn't like we were hanging around famous people every day, but it's just like my mom's so cool, and she's European, and she's grew up in fashion, and she grew up, you know, like her and her friends were me and my friends back in the day.
Yeah.
Like going out, and I see pictures of my mom with the coolest style.
It
and
helps.
like,
He speaks fluent French. It helps with all the fashion houses.
Yeah.
We send him out there. It's like a whole ball game.
Yeah, that is big.
So now you have your own. You have Psych World.
yeah.
So what do you? I mean, I know you have this is just what I know.
Yeah.
Record label, DJ career.
Yeah.
Psych World.
Yeah. The coolest thing about, well, we'll get to the other brand stuff we're working on in a second, but the coolest thing about the DJ stuff is going back to the first way I ever got a check, and I bought myself a GameCube, which was the PS5 of the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Good priorities.
Was, I guess, my mom's friend. And so House in New York, when I first opened, my mom was like she was like in fashion, whatever. She was like one of the first people they invited to come be a member, right?
Yeah.
And there was a whole second floor that was like the kids' floor. And they don't have that House at LA, obviously. It's much different.
Mm-hmm.
And all the kids would have their birthday parties there. And I was always playing cool music and burning CDs for people and stuff like this. And I'm like literally 8, 9 years old. I'm like burning CDs and stuff. And the first way I ever paid for something was this mom asked me to make a playlist for her son's birthday. She's like, will you make a iTunes playlist and download it on this iPod for me? And she paid me like $200 or whatever. And that's how I bought my GameCube. So I always wanted, and I was like, Mom, I want to DJ, but how do you start to DJ? It's like, you want to buy turntables for a 12-year-old? Where do you even plug? I don't even know what to buy. My mom doesn't, you know what I mean? So I always wanted to DJ, and I couldn't really sort of feed that desire until I was working in the club, which is when I'm literally have the privilege to sit in the DJ booth behind so many of my favorite DJs and just watching them every night. And I remember my 20th birthday, I asked my friend who DJ'd, like, yo, can I come over for the week leading up to it? Will you just teach me the basics so I can DJ at least for like 30 minutes on my 20th birthday? And he's like, of course. And that, I think the greatest thing I've ever had was all these people that were so willing to bestow knowledge on me. Even like hang out with you guys, like you guys have known me for 5-6 years now. And like, you guys are like my OGs, best friends, like my friends, my OGs, whatever. And all these people that are a little bit older than me that have done things in different industries who are so willing to embrace and give me knowledge. Like that's been the biggest thing that I've been able to tap into.
You make it easy for people too. Because a lot of times when you talk to young people, they get very defensive. They get like, even if you don't agree with anything that I say, you'll at least be like, oh, that's interesting. You just smile and nod your head. Yeah, that's all we want as old people. Lie to us. Just be like, yeah, that's great. I mean, when my dad's yelling at me, I'm just like, yeah, you're right. Whatever. It's just like, it's just out of respect at this point. But it's true. And I think a lot of young people get so angry and defensive and like, no, that's not how you do it, blah, blah, blah. And that turns people off. That's such like I don't know. For me, it's a really, really big turn off.
But it's, even like, so Pedro, like you guys probably met my friend Pedro.
Yeah.
Like he's only, 3 years older than me, but like that's like he's like a big brother.
How old are you now?
I'm 24.
Okay.
So Pedro's like a big brother to me. And big brother in like literally full sense of the meaning, like he'll like be so mean to me sometimes, the way a big brother, but not mean, hard on me.
Yep.
Which I think is the best thing, especially when you're DJing. DJing is a craft. It's you can't come in and call yourself a DJ and disrespect the art of it.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays, and I'm not hating on anyone, but DJing is such an art form with so much heritage, and so many kids now are like, influencer turned DJ or this.
That's
whatever.
my dream.
Well, that's what everyone thought Zach was doing.
D tried that.
They didn't, but they didn't realize how much work he was putting into it.
Yeah,
well,
like that's what I would tell people. Like, look, I came from DJ management world, and like I'd never seen someone put in work like this.
Yeah,
day in and day out, and actually
hours every day, every free time I had in the
still
club.
Does.
And like the clubs obviously they still exist during the daytime, just no one's there. So there's like the best equipment ever. So every time that I could go, I would just sneak into the club during the daytime and just go DJ for hours by myself, with Pedro, with other friends that are DJs, whatever, just pulling a little bit of secret sauce from all of them, just technique wise, and then sort of molding my own sound musically. So the DJing, I mean, it's just been that's like, I swear, like when I'm at my happiest is when I'm like DJing. And which feeds back into the record label because you can play these songs and whatever. So everything I think that we work on has synergy, even the clothing stuff, being at fashion shows, whatever. It leads to sort of maybe a cultural imprint that leads back into why you can break music and why you can find new talent.
And who wears the clothes that you do.
Who wears the clothes and things like that. Everything sort of trickled down culturally. So there's like, the 0.5% of people that find the stuff early or create the stuff early, trickles down to their 1% of friends, gets trickled down to the next 5% that blasts it out to the rest of the world. You know what I mean? And being able to be a part of that 0.5% of people that are on things early or creating things early, that's like really the key.
Yeah. So interesting on that topic. What do you think about like what's going on like TikTok and OnlyFans? Like those are also like, to me, those two specifically have changed the way like young people view their careers and opportunities and money. Like
there's never been a larger disconnect between the 13, 17-year-old and the 18, 25-year-old.
Really? What does that mean?
So, especially because I grew up in like the quickest time of technological change that everyone, every year that I grew up, the computers became twice as fast and half as thin. Yeah. Right? And this is when was the moon landing? How many years ago? I don't know the exact date, but in that 30-year span, 40-year span, technological things advance, but not at the rate they are today. Yeah, like we're seeing the quickest exponential growth in like technology and all these things, and I grew up amidst all that. So I'm thinking, it'll be a while before I feel out of touch with things, and like I'm completely out of touch.
Oh, you feel out of touch
for sure.
So like TikTok world.
Well, I don't even have TikTok yet.
Wow.
So
I know how important it is. I don't have it. And
That's interesting.
And
24, you feel like there's a younger generation.
We've talked about many times is that the half-life of technology is just so much quicker than it used to be. Like,
What you don't think about is the half-life of the celebrities attached to that technology then is also.
well, the
And
TikTok kids now
OnlyFans
are
is
the
a
Vine
whole
kids
other
of
category.
before, or the YouTube. You know, it's
so
all.
I guess what's interesting, because we've talked about this plenty, is that most of the TikTok stars got famous during the pandemic.
Yep.
So when shit's closed.
Yep.
So it's going to be
And now everyone's
interesting
just
when,
consuming them online.
when things open up. Are they the A-listers in the club?
It's a really good question.
Like next summer
I'm gonna
when
s-
things are open.
I'm gonna say no.
Really?
I think
so
they're
Charlie
like the-
D'Amelio pulls
she'll be
up.
17.
Well, at certain
Terz is like,
establishments,
no
they
comment.
Let's leave H-Wood establishments out of the question.
LA is different than any other place. All these so-called social media stars all live in LA.
Yeah.
So if anywhere in the world's going to cater to those people, it's definitely, we're talking about this specific market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
I
think
feel like you must be like a legend to them. Like to that younger generation, they must be like, that's the guy who deals with like the real
It's
shit.
funny because,
Do they reach out?
and I don't want to toot my own horn at all,
Toot it.
but it's like, you know, for example, like Luca and all these kids that we grew up in, we grew up in the fashion scene. Like if we're any type of social media kids, we were like sort of like fashion Instagram kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we get around these kids that, you know, have like 25 million more followers than us, but they're like, damn, like those are the cool kids, sort of
Yeah.
like to our friends
Yeah.
in a way that's like sweet and respectful.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, yo, like, let me know about what's the cool
Well,
shit.
obviously
or
they're
whatever.
just doing this.
Yeah, maybe it's just different. It's just a different art form.
but
TikTokers.
the lines are blurred now
Yeah.
because we're like, whereas like the generation right before that, which was like Vine, all the kids that were like sort of big on Vine, you know, that sort of Vine fizzled out. And it's like, what are you going to transition out of? Because it's obviously social medias have a shelf life, right? So when TikTok isn't the fad anymore, all these kids who amass these followings, how are they going to transition to keep these kids engaged?
Totally.
And what are they going to do with the money now? Because it's money. The number one thing you have to know is that you don't know anything. And the second thing is it's not going to last forever, right?
Yeah.
And as much as you might think it is, I'm not even talking about TikTok, anything in general, you know, it's very hard to sustain something for an elongated period. So it's like if they're making all this money right now, that's amazing. Or I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know case by case if they're investing it. I don't know what their plan is. And these kids this is the biggest social media celebrity we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's now blurred lines completely between a real celebrity and social media celebrity, I guess is the real thing. Is the same thing at this point.
Yeah.
But it's like, and then it's like, I wonder what their next steps are going to be in life. I'm so curious. That's not like a bad thing.
Yeah, and so like here's an interesting stat that Anand shared with me. So on OnlyFans, there's over 100 people on OnlyFans that make over $1 million a year. Over 100 already.
How old is it?
Crazy.
Like 2 years old, right?
Yeah, I think it's a few years old.
A
But
little older. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
a few-
But all the
16,
action was
16.
since March, I think.
yeah, and it kind of just took off. And like
Like $2 billion has been paid to creators.
Well,
1
since
million
only-
creators. It's 4 years. So you take something like that. Well, obviously, OnlyFans is starting in that area of like obviously sex. That's what they're selling today.
Yeah.
But like it's going to evolve.
that's
And
that's my biggest
yeah.
question about OnlyFans. Like, will a musical artist be able to translate to OnlyFans and be like, yo, follow my OnlyFans and here's a snippet of my unreleased music.
Yeah. I think if the right artist does it.
You know what I'm saying? So
But
Yeah, I
but that just because that's essentially why big ass companies want to be in business with you is because they want the pulse of reaching young people is so hard, right?
Yeah.
Getting on the radar of young people is so hard.
you can't force it. That's why TikTok is so great.
Yeah.
The number one thing about TikTok is the genius in TikTok is the algorithm. And it's also a testament to, so remember like Instagram like 5 years ago, if someone famous posted you or tagged you, instantly you gain so much traction, right?
Yeah.
So many followers or whatever. Now you see people with millions of followers post something and it grows up, 30 followers or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a testament to how people are consuming. They're consuming that moment. People don't care about the next step after that. They want that instant gratification, right? And with TikTok, it's so purely naturally viral that if you're a kid in your room and you have 0 followers and you make something that's actually really funny, the algorithm will feed it to
It
people.
rewards you.
It'll go,
Yeah.
right? And by the way, your page might not even grow, but that video might have 10 million hits or whatever. And it's just a testament to sort of the consumption methods of like this generation.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the genius of TikTok is the algorithm, like you're talking about, and then there's clearly an editorial board that's pushing it, because everything that's leaked in the last kind of year is that Charli D'Amelio, while resonates with fans, there is a clear editorial board that's pushing Charli D'Amelio on the
they're
platform.
pushing regular looking
Josh
white
Rich-
kids.
Isn't Charli
like,
D'Amelio gone from TikTok now?
No,
She just got $100 million.
Slightly canceled.
She got slightly
fine.
canceled.
No, she's-
for a week.
No,
No,
it's
someone
such-
moved to Triller. Wasn't it?
She is. They all are.
They're both-
They're all toeing
just-
the line. They're all doing Triller,
Got it.
with the assumption that there potentially could be a TikTok ban. So they're hedging. They're all
Got it.
hedging.
Interesting. These
Can I
kids.
ask one like sort of my big ender question is, I think the whole thing that we just kind of went over is like so we started with everyone's trying to figure out who your dad is. Everyone's trying to figure out what the secret is, because this can't just be a natural story of how you have made it.
It can't just be you worked hard. And
Yeah, it can't be that, right? It has to be something. There has to be an excuse. So we know, because we're very close to you, it's not your dad. It's not whatever. What is? I'm curious to hear from John too, because he's seen it so closely. What is the secret sauce? What is responsible for this insanely quick, star-filled success that you've had at such a young age?
Thank you for putting it so kindly. I think, like, obviously this is a business group, business podcast. So I think, like, in correlation to business, number one thing is like always taking the long route, even if it seemed like, especially when you work in nightlife and you work with cool people and this and that, every day shit's gonna get thrown your way. That's like, put this little deal together for me and do these little things. And it's like, never do those. Never do that quick introduction for money. Never do those backdoor deals. That's like so stupid. If you're going to make an introduction, do it because you feel like it's their synergy for them. And I've introduced so many people that have gone on to do so many great things without me, because it's not about me. It's like, if I think you guys can do amazing things, I'll introduce you guys. Yeah. But I don't want to do a little deal where I get a backdoor 5% or a little this and that. Like, it's always taking the long route. And like, really, it sounds stupid, but being a good person.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's funny the long route paid off at 24.
Yeah.
no, but I'm saying,
He's got some.
You take the long route, it can pay off quick.
no, but that's long story short.
I have a good thinking for
I want your angle
what the
on it
reason
too.
is. The best way I can liken it to is an athlete. I'm gonna say a controversial statement here. It's very controversial.
Okay. Is it racist?
I would venture to say that there are other athletes that might be as skilled as Michael Jordan was. Okay. There might be other athletes that have the work ethic that he had. However, the reason why someone like that is the greatness is they have the combo of the actual talent and the work ethic. Usually, for the most part, they're lacking one or the other, right? With my opinion on Zach is it's kind of a...
Is he comparing me to Michael Jordan?
that's what I'm thinking.
You thought my compliment was good.
Listen to
Holy
why.
shit.
I think there's a similar thing. He actually doesn't get credit for the talent he has. He actually has talent behind him. He has an ear. He's got the fashion sense. At the same time, he's got the work ethic. He's got the humility and the statement of, I know what I don't know, which is what he just said, type of thing, which is an important aspect. So he's working harder every day. That combo, I think, is important. I don't see it with kids that often today.
No.
They think they're just going to blow up on Instagram and be famous. They don't realize he is not an Instagram person. He actually has, a whole business he's doing. Just happens to be he's known on Instagram. Yes, there's that whole angle. But I think that's where the difference is with someone like him.
Yeah. What's interesting is like very much what you were saying, Zach. John has been like that his entire life as well. Like in terms of, John's Rolodex is the most ridiculous Rolodex in the world. And I don't think...
I would argue John has the most important Rolodex in the world of any individual when you combine
popular
culture, business folks, celebrities.
If John's phone didn't have a password on it, he like lost it someday.
It's a disaster.
Whoever picked that phone up
Yeah,
is like
it's scary.
could like destroy the whole world, or like make $1 billion.
And what's interesting is, and we've, this is to your credit, but we've also always pushed you as friends. Like, you've connected so many people
John is the master dot connector for things that don't even necessarily relate to him.
Yeah,
He'll put together business deals that come out to millions and millions of dollars that he doesn't ever want a piece of because the beauty is in like rewarding his friends, connecting his friends. There's a beauty behind being a connector and a proper one.
Yes.
You know?
Especially when you realize that you will be rewarded. Karma will pay you back. I think too many people are like, I introduce A to B, give me some money.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
That's how everyone is. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And I think that's a fault when you look at the long scope of how life works.
And because people know John's, you know, his honesty and his temperament, things like that, that's why things get brought his way super early. Even if it's for him to be involved or not involved, people are like, take a look at this. What do you think about this? You know,
Networking.
Yeah. You know,
you guys got to do something with that. You know what I mean?
But then that would be networking.
No, involve no one else, just you two.
Just you two just talking. But I think there's a lot to learn on personality.
The anti-networking pod where we invite none of our friends.
Literally.
We're going to introduce you to no one today because you know what? We don't fucking want you to meet our friends because you'll fuck it up.
Our special guest is here. They don't have a mic. And they're not going to be on camera.
No, it's good points.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's super interesting to see that like you guys you're both kind of very much like that. I mean, that's why I thought the relation was there just because he shares a lot of the same qualities that you've always had. And I think all the things that maybe you couldn't do when you were 24.
Right. Vicariously.
Yeah.
Kids doing
We have so many jokes about that.
It's literally John with a little bit better fashion sense.
There you go.
You know,
I'll go on like a date with a girl or something, and John will be like, hold it down for us.
How's our date going?
It's like the proud dad.
It's amazing. Zach, leave us with some parting words for young people. Something inspiring.
You could have told me this before I came in. I would have
No,
known.
we don't do it that way. No way.
That's the whole beauty of the podcast world.
Okay. One that I will learn to practice more is it sounds like a stupid like Hallmark quote, but first of all, you can't love others if you don't love yourself first. And the best way to love yourself is to spend time alone. And I think, you know, Corona time has been tough because people have been separated from their loved ones. But let's say things are fine and dandy. I know me specifically, I always feel it's very taxing to be around people all the time. And they're drawing your energy, and we're like always in the service business. What do people want? What do people want? And it's like when you never think about yourself, you have to sometimes, you know, go home and take an hour for yourself and get off your phone, especially if we're talking about TikTok and OnlyFans and Instagram. And but the list goes on and on. Yeah. Sit at home and chill out for a second. Yeah. I'm not going to say go read a book because I haven't read a book in a long time. Yeah. And I don't want to give, you know, and I don't want to give advice that I don't take.
Authentic advice. Yeah.
But really it's like take time for yourself. It sounds so stupid, but if you really do
the new version of meditate.
Yeah. Good mission statement too for networking club, you know?
Yeah.
There you go.
I like that. It all ties in.
Yeah, no phone, no nothing.
The best thing to network is to take time for yourself.
Yeah.
I like that.
Network with yourself.
Network with yourself.
Good shit.
Great.
Anything we're missing?
No, it's great.
Zach, thank you, man. I hope we cleared up a little bit of the mystery. I think we still left enough mystery that we won't
I feel like I
blow
talk too much in general, not about myself, but just I feel like I was going on these run-ons.
Well, I have one more question. So, can I get a Dior discount?
Yeah. I'll put you on text to my dad's assistant.
I think that's good, man. I think I think there's so much of like everyone trying to become a celebrity before they have anything to say in this day and age that like you've kind of done the opposite. You've like everyone knows who you are, wonders who you are, wonders what you're all about, and this is the longest you've ever talked on a microphone.
Definitely.
And I love that you on social media you share whatever moments that are important to you, but you don't really share your life.
No, definitely.
Which is very antithesis of what today's culture is about, which is share everything, share your toothpaste to your fucking haircut, everything, share. And
I do see you have a good jump shot.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Lethal
posted
Shooter,
that.
man. Yeah. Good shit. And listen, if there's anything we can do to get you in touch with Fetty Wap, we will do
Please.
it.
That's going to be a big moment.
All right, good shit. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, y'all.
Tim, guess what we're about to do?
What?
We're going to take a quick break from today's episode to bring everybody our wonderful and fantastic sponsors. Guys, without these incredible brands, this podcast would not be possible. Literally, we would not be able to do this without the help of all these amazing brands. So I'm going to quickly read through all the specials they have going on for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Please, if you enjoy this podcast, we ask that you go and support them, support their brands, because in turn, it allows us to continue doing this podcast. So let's start right away with the Menlo Club. That's right, the best men's subscription clothing business in the entire world. Join today for only $29. That is half off their regular price. Head over to themenlohouse.com. Use code DEEGC at checkout to get your first package for only $29. You're going to get an incredible package that gets dropped right to your doorstep every single month, and you will be looking amazing. Amazing. I swear by it. I get my package every single month, and I'm styled head to toe. Incredible deal at themenlohouse.com. Use that code DEEGC at checkout to get your first package for only $29. Then if you head over to Alice Gray and their Instagram page, they're giving away a pair of their luxury shoes. Guys, Alice Gray is a fully sustainable luxury brand right here in-house. And if you head over to their Instagram, they're giving away a pair of shoes. Instructions are there. And for an added bonus, head over to Alice Gray, that's ALESGREY.com, and use the code GroupChat for an additional discount. Then we head over to the Grand Running Club. Grand Running Club is selling 2 of their everyday pants for only $80, and they're selling them individually for just $40. So either way, go ahead and double up or take them both individually at $40. But these pants are the most comfortable, stylish pants you'll ever want to wear. You'll never want to put another pair of pants on. And the craziest thing is that D's selling them at $40 a pair. Competitors right now, same exact pair, same exact style, same exact material, they're selling them for upwards of $130 to $150 each. We're getting them to you for only $40. Don't miss out on that deal. That's an incredible deal if you're needing a pair of very comfortable and everyday pants to be wearing. Multitude of colors, grandrunningclub.com. Use code GroupChat also for a special discount code there. And New Republic end of year sneaker sale is going on. Shoes starting at almost 50% off. I swear by these shoes. I wear them every single day. They have a multitude of different sneakers, boots, and more available at shopnewrepublic.com. They're the shoes you need. They're comfortable. They're stylish. You can't go wrong. Boom. Heading over to Melrose Place. They're doing a 50% off promotion on their hoodies. The hoodies are comfortable. They're warm. And they're the only sweatshirt I'm wearing nowadays. So head over to melroseplaceco.com and take advantage of that 50% off. Hoodies are now only $49, regularly upwards of $99 plus. So don't miss out there. From Mask and Hand Sanitizer, from Clean Monster, use the code GroupChat for a special offer at cleanmonster.com. Stay sanitized and stay protected. Shop Clean Monster. Masks are amazing. Hand sanitizer smells amazing. You can't go wrong with any of their products. So head over there, use code GroupChat as well for a special discount. Check out Black Friday sales at Young and Reckless for an added bonus. Also use code GroupChat, Young and Reckless Drama. You guys know all about it. It's an incredible little streetwear brand. Perfect. If you had a younger kid in your life, you have younger cousins, any kid that's into streetwear, they'll love Young and Reckless. It's what all the cool kids are wearing. Take advantage of their huge sale going on. Cotties are signature fish flops. That's right. Head over to cotties.com and shop their signature fish flops and so much more. D was in the office the other day with the taco slippers on. Fun, exciting, unique gifts over there at Cotties, CODDIES.com. Club Fantasy is also doing a sale. Head over there and use code GroupChat for an additional bonus. And Liquid IV, of course. Our friends over at Liquid IV, you can just straight up use the code GroupChat and get 25% off any of their products. Guys, stay hydrated. Get better hydration today at liquidiv.com. Use this code GroupChat for 25% off. And, of course, Manscaped, our lovely friends at Manscaped. They have been a big supporter of this pod as well. So don't miss out. I know you plenty of you that have men in your lives that have all those long nose hairs, could use a great ball trimmer, or have hairy ears. Solve that issue for them and get their performance package at manscaped.com. All you got to do is use code GroupChat. You get 20% off and free shipping. Get those presents in, guys. It's crunch time. Time is coming down, and we just gave you literally every code you could possibly need to get a great deal at all these multitude of websites. We have clothes. We have shoes. We have ear trimmers. We have hydration multipliers. We have, Tim, what else did we have? I don't know. Sorry, that might have got a little bit too excited there.
Someone just broke their phone again.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you. If you shop those different brands, we appreciate it so much. Again, allows us to keep doing this podcast. Means the world to us. We're going to get you back into today's episode. That's it for me. Bye, guys.
International man of mystery,
The legend.
Coolest kid in the world.
the young legend. And I'll say, like, I haven't talked to Zach in a little bit since he's went to a new level since we last spoke.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I expected him to maybe walk in here feeling himself a little more than usual. Same as the day we met him.
Yeah.
Humble guy. I don't know how he is around the younger groups, around the TikTokers.
Yeah. Maybe just smack him around.
Yeah. But with us, nothing but respect.
Very thoughtful kid.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because, like, even in all seriousness, like, for us, I think the rise to his success is like is cool and pretty crazy. But
It's
like
exciting.
The outside looking in, it's like, okay, what's
Yeah.
the excuse?
Yeah.
Who did this?
And I think it's even for us knowing him probably since he was 19, 20 years old, it's just exciting. It's like, we're just curious to see how this story plays out because.
And I think it was important what I think we even learned in the last hour is that there's more than just, hey, cool kid hanging out with celebrities. He's clearly a very smart guy that has a kind of thought process for how he does things and how he thinks about whether it's music, fashion. Like, there's a clear strategy that he's pursuing, and it's not just, oh, he just so happened to be around Drake and Drake rapped about him. And I think that's the way to get mad and be a hater.
Yeah.
Rather than be like, hey, this guy actually is like,
Understand what he's doing and see how you can apply it to your life.
yeah.
Plus, for the group chat audience, I'd say he has the coolest piece of jewelry in the business world.
Yes.
He walks around wearing an EBITDA chain.
Who doesn't like good EBITDA?
You know what I mean? Good reminder every day.
Stock market doesn't like EBITDA.
You're right. You're right. It's not
He's
good
old
for
school
you.
in that sense.
Yeah,
He's a cash flow guy.
No, he's an old soul.
He's old soul.
a profit guy.
He's from the Warren Buffett School of Economics.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
To the TikTokers, he is.
Yeah.
I mean, how crazy is it that a 24-year-old in the scene as you can be already feels a generation aged by the TikTok crowd?
That is just nuts.
That's nuts. And that also means we are freaking.
We're dead.
You guys are dead.
Zach probably thinks we're dead. We're just corpses walking around.
Oh my God. He just talked to us out of respect.
Yeah.
Just like
Zach
hours
probably walked in
before
the
they
way
go.
like we'd walk into our grandma's place when we were 20.
Yeah,
Like,
let's
oh
go
yeah, we'll just
humor.
pretend to be nice.
Yeah.
Humor these old fucks.
Yeah,
and then I'm
Grandma.
going to go back and go do whatever cool thing I'm doing at the
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, speaking of internet world, holy shit, the internet world got
It was hot.
rocked yesterday.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Man.
Who you are,
Who you R.I.P. before I make a joke?
Yeah, what was that exactly?
Nate
Drake?
Robinson's
Okay.
whole social media existence.
Okay. I just want to make sure you weren't thinking about something different. Nate Robinson
Yeah.
got completely knocked out cold to his face. I mean, the worst type of knockout, not even questionable that it was a knockout. Complete knockout by Jake Paul in this circus of a boxing match that happened. I mean, worst case scenario.
I called it. I put it in our chat. Jake Paul's going to put Nate Robinson to sleep.
He literally fell asleep.
Asleep. And it looked bad from the beginning. There was like that weird punch in the side of the head where he kind of looked like knocked out, kept grabbing the back of his head. And it was like, whoa, what's going on? That felt weird. Then tripped him again or tripped him, whatever, and then completely knocked him out cold.
I think Jake Paul should run for governor. There's not a hotter white person.
President.
Well, governor first.
But
President.
governor
He's
of
like a
California,
modern
though.
age Reagan.
He's a
But shouldn't he
Reagan.
go to like a white area? He could crush in a white area.
Why? I mean, we elected Schwarzenegger in
But they're from
California.
Ohio. If you went to Ohio, those kids could run Ohio at this point.
Yeah, they could be governor and then president. He's too young to be president. So he'll be governor in his 20s and 30s and then rise. I mean, this guy said COVID is fake last week. Completely fake. It's a hoax.
Oh, he said that.
Yes.
Oh.
And then he beat the shit out of a professional athlete. And might I say, a black athlete, which is great for the white movement.
I'm not even going to kind of chime in on that. Oh, Mike.
I mean,
You're telling the line
this is
there.
what everyone is thinking in their head.
Only thing better for Ohio would have said if he would have said, "That's what happens when you take a knee." Respect the flag.
I'm just saying, like, if you're like a white, like just regular white guy, Jake Paul's a fucking hero.
You know what's interesting is
Well, yeah, if you're a regular ass white guy, absolutely.
And there's a lot of regular ass white guys out
Yeah,
there.
no, it's great. Great
I
for
mean,
them.
he just beat he's a YouTuber from Ohio.
But he's also like a wrestler. He's an actual fighter, and people discount it just because of the YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I knew he could fight, but he wasn't shocking.
I know, but he's not like a professional athlete. That's just like, oh, he played at Ohio State and then he went on YouTube. This kid just came out here fucking around and he just went and said, I'm going to box and I'm beat the shit out. It's still a professional athlete at the end of the day.
I agree. It's very impressive. And I think Anthony tweeted this and I talked to him this morning about this. Like, there was no upside in Nate Robinson doing this fight. If he had won, he tweeted, Anthony, if he had won, everyone would have forgot.
He made $600,000 was the guaranteed plus a share of pay-per-view.
Nate Robinson's made over, I don't know, 50, 60 million?
Super broke? I mean, that's the only reason. That's the only reason.
I followed him for a while on Instagram, and he just, I don't think he really does much anymore. I think he's got like a small clothing brand, and that's it. He's made his money, and he's just chilling on Instagram.
But has he made his money?
I mean,
right.
Yeah. Has he made his money? At that age, getting knocked out, first of all, is horrendous.
Yeah.
And then number two, getting knocked out in front of the world by a YouTuber is like
the worst.
More like societal.
I mean,
who is that? Cat Williams that tried to do some shit like that too?
I don't remember, but I just
so Nate Robinson's made $24 million in his NBA career, so he could have easily spent that.
Yeah,
plus taxes, agencies. So maybe he needed the money.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, why would you do that? There was a part of me that thought Nate Robinson is just an athlete where Jake isn't, and so maybe he'll put up a good fight. Maybe he could win. I don't know. But then Jake started putting out videos of him just like beating the holy shit out of his sparring partners like a week ago. But I honestly thought I didn't think it would go like that. That was bad.
I mean, Jake Paul should consider just like getting in the ring full time.
That's what he's doing. I think that he legitimately
is he fighting Conor McGregor?
Yeah, he called out Conor McGregor. He called out a multitude.
He wants. I mean, they're the kings of like attention.
You know what I learned? What I've learned in the pandemic. And it's very similar to the conversation we're having with Zach. There are no fucking rules.
No, that's
I don't care that I know the headline fight was Tyson Roy Jones. Jake Paul is a draw.
Yeah, if you looked at like impressions, it was all Jake Paul.
It was all Jake.
Especially because of the knockout.
Yes.
I mean, Black Twitter had a field day with Nate Robinson.
Poor Nate Robinson,
they put him in a coffin like he just.
I saw the pallbearers
getting
it.
It was
oh no, I forgot about that. It reminds me of Bloomberg. We were saying, like, look, man, you made it so far. Why end with the word? Why get destroyed at the end? Yeah. Like, Nate Robinson doesn't have a chance next year to go.
How do you rebuild your career?
His image.
Yeah.
No. You know what I'm saying? You're going to end on, you're going out on that.
It's done.
You're forever the guy who got knocked out by Jake Paul. Why would you do that?
Yeah. How old is Jake Paul? 25?
23, I think.
Oh, my God.
And Nate Robinson's in his mid to late 30s.
Yeah. But Jake Paul legitimately thinks he's going to be a boxer. Like, that's like...
I think he's on his way. And honestly, what we've learned is, first, real funny story. I couldn't even buy this fucking fight.
Oh, not this again.
Yes.
This is why Zach knows.
Yeah, this is a generational gap.
Yeah.
I go on Spectrum. Fuck Spectrum. They go, I find the fight on pay-per-view. I hit buy. They said, call a phone number.
Ugh.
Oh my, are you fucking kidding me?
It was the
so
fight
I call the phone number.
Wow, you actually called.
Yeah, because I wanted to watch this fight. Everyone's like hyping it up. I want to see.
I gave you a hack.
He gives me this fucking
crack stream.
Yes, yeah. I couldn't even log on to that. So I'm on hold trying to log on. Then they go, please enter the phone number associated with your account for Spectrum. I put my cell phone number. No, I put my wife's phone number. Doesn't work. And then they're like, we don't know how to look up your account.
Well, you just download the Fight app.
Well, that was after the fact, and then finally at like 9:15, they sent my text like, "Oh, here's the Fight app. You can watch it." And at that point, I wanted to see
how much
Jake
time
Paul.
it lasts.
This is 30 fucking minutes. I missed all I wanted to see was Jake Paul and
it was quick
Nate
though.
Robinson.
You could get it from the highlights were good enough.
Yeah,
it was so quick.
Yeah.
And good for them. I do think they can make a lot of money. Keep in mind, Logan's currently like calling out Floyd Mayweather.
And
he'll probably beat his ass.
And Jake Paul's calling out Conor McGregor.
If Jake Paul beats Conor McGregor's ass, I mean, that would be the best thing in the world.
But it wouldn't happen.
Why? Why can't they
Unless
fight?
it was in just boxing.
Yeah,
couldn't be
boxing.
anything.
Oh, no, it's
no,
just
not
boxing.
MMA.
No.
Just
It would
boxing.
Give Jake 3 years.
It
MMA.
still can't happen. I mean, look,
By
Conor
3 years, he'll
McGregor
be-
like
he'll
held
be
his
old.
own against Floyd. There's just no way. The
No,
guy's life
absolutely
has
not.
been dedicated to fighting people.
Dude, he
It sounds looks like Jake Paul's husband too.
You know what I love? He's like, I've been fighting my whole life. I've been fighting. You know what he's a poster boy for? Is like the white struggle.
Yeah,
That
that's
everyone-
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then you go beat a black athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, there was a lot of like metaphorical
Oh,
things
man,
happening in
yeah.
that fight that I think could propel his political career.
No, he could box his way to the White House. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And look, I think it's bad. I wouldn't say bad, but I think core like boxing people are pissed because like it's all just fuckery of their sport.
Yeah.
But I do think that Jake and probably Logan can make tens of millions of dollars
Tens.
in a boxing career over the next 5
I think
years.
I always said this on Twitter. I think watching anyone fight is fun.
Yeah.
watching people beat
it's
the
so
shit
fun.
out of each
I
other.
mean, that's the NFL, right?
that's gladiator. But I mean, NFL is still like
Hand-to-hand combat is
there's nothing just
better.
like
Yeah.
go and
I mean, it just goes to our,
I mean, that
Best
image
man walks
of
out of here.
that image of Nate Robinson just on his front side, like
Yeah, that's like a gladiator.
you're not
image.
gonna get that in football. You're gonna get that in any of these
that's
sports.
human behavior. We have barbaric instincts.
Yeah.
We just
And
want to
I'll
see.
tell
I
you
mean,
what.
if Jake Paul fought a lion, it would be like 50 million people
Yes.
would watch
Yeah,
it.
that might be like 2030
Yeah.
YouTube
Jake Paul.
pay-per-view Jake Paul
Well-
versus Lion. Paul brothers versus
Two lions.
two
Well,
lions.
you know who could do it is Barstool. They have the rough and rowdy. They're already doing the like barbaric.
I know, but you need
hand-to-
stars.
But
You
right,
need
so I'm
stars.
saying
You
they
need
have the
stars.
ability where the pros, and it might be very picky what they are right now. But I'm saying I think they have the greatest
But if I was
possibility to
Jake
swing
and
in.
Logan, I would literally just make a boxing version of Celebrity Deathmatch in real life and make a league. And all you do is pair up celebrities that want to beat the shit out of each other
Yeah.
or notable people. Like let someone fight frickin', I don't know, George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Let like the most random people who want to come in and fight, and it's under the Paul's Boxing League. You could make $1 billion.
$1 billion. It'd be bigger than UFC. I like just seeing the average Joe just beat the shit out of
Yeah,
each other.
hell yeah.
Everyone does.
bum fights.
Yeah.
Wasn't that huge?
Bum fights was huge.
It's like Celebrity Rehab, but you know how Celebrity Rehab gets obscure?
Yeah.
It's like, wasn't even, who was on Celebrity Rehab that's like the super, I can't remember. Anyway, whatever. Like not just straight up celebrities, like people that were in the news.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Or like Dancing with the Stars. You could have Boxing with the Stars by the Paul brothers.
Yes.
They could be billionaires.
I mean, Dancing with the Stars has been like 20 years, right?
Dancing with the Stars probably has generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue.
Do Boxing with the Stars.
So the only thing I've read about the pay-per-view is so the guaranteed funds were $1 million for Tyson and Jones, $600K for the two of them, Jake and Nate, and then all the rest of the people got very little money. And then there's a percentage that each fighter negotiated of the gate. Only thing I've read so far is that the pre-sales were pacing more than Mayweather and McGregor.
I mean, if that's the case.
That's crazy.
So I don't know what happened on the day of. So we'll see if it actually came through. And keep in mind, Triller was involved with it. This might be a better business model for Triller than competing with TikTok.
Yeah, just be the next Don King.
King for Pauls. The Pauls.
I mean, I honestly think if you would have had Tyson, Roy Jones, and then Jake Paul, Nate Robinson as separate events, I think
Equally.
Jake Paul would have brought more people.
I was only going there to see Jake Paul and Nate Robinson, not Tyson.
Yeah, I
was
think
going
people
there for both.
underestimate.
I wanted to be.
I just
be
knew
entertained,
that Tyson and Roy Jones were professionals, even though they fought. I knew they're not going to go all brawl it out.
Yeah, that's
true.
For them, it's like, it said it was an exhibition.
Yeah.
So they know what to do. They're professionals.
I mean, the reality is you're not going to see the knockout that you saw Nate Robinson get amongst two professionals because he just kind of walked into it.
Yeah.
And then Jake Paul just like, fuck it, I got you. Like a real pro's not doing that.
It's also that, like, I mean, even all the fighters under, and probably even Tyson and Roy Jones took punches like what Nate Robinson took. It's just if you don't get punched in the face for a living, you can't take that.
Yeah.
And it just put him out cold. It was a quick little hook.
I think Jake Paul should just fight everyone he can.
And then can we also talk about how Snoop Dogg should be commentating the entire thing, the entire time?
I didn't get a chance to watch, but I
Wow.
heard great things.
It was great.
Amazing.
It was
Okay.
great. If he was signed on as the commentator official, he was the Joe Rogan
Yes.
of Celebrity Deathmatch.
But that's another thing on breaking the rules. Why do we have to hear these old people? It should be Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
That's who I heard more about the commentating than I heard about the Tyson Jones fight. All I heard was Snoop Dogg, Snoop Dogg, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time. Sports are dead in this country. We need to reinvent them. Dave Portnoy should be commentating Sunday Night Football on like fucking HBO or some streaming network where he can cuss and say and talk about gambling, talking about,
Yeah, like if a play is busted, be like, you son of a bitch.
You fucked over. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Look, not to completely, not to reference it again and go back, but it's what we were talking about with Zach about not knowing the rules can be the best thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think a lot of times you just follow the rules. Because of course, on a fight commentator, you want someone who knows fighting and can explain exactly what's happening. It's just, it blows your mind when you find out the majority of the audience doesn't give a shit.
Speaking of no rules, the other big thing that happened this weekend, sorry to jump topic, but I think it falls in the same line. Mm-hmm. You guys all watched Dave Chappelle's Instagram?
Yeah.
IGTV?
Yeah.
Where he pretty much explained why Netflix pulled the Chappelle show off Netflix. Mm-hmm. And he did something which is breaking the rules. And he calls it out. He says, I don't know if this is okay to do, but I'm going to tell you the story. Hollywood is one of those things, it's just been these too many gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. And his point that he made across, I highly recommend watching it, is that he felt that his lawyer, his agent, the network were all kind of colluding with each other.
Yeah.
And that it was in everyone's best interest to keep Dave in check and not give him what he really wanted. Yep. And now Dave Chappelle is arguably one of the most powerful entertainers in the world. He goes and says, I want this down. And if you don't play by my rules, I'm coming after you.
Yeah.
Which Hollywood actors would never do that. They would never. They're afraid of the man. They're afraid of the big company. And I think what we're learning across all these industries is like, yo, if shit ain't fair, you got to just call it out now.
Yeah.
No more playing to the rules of these gatekeepers.
Well, I also think with Chappelle specifically, that's just capitalism at its finest. So he signed a contract that was unfavorable to him, and he lost his show.
Yeah.
And now he's Dave Chappelle, the most powerful comedian in the world. And he said, Netflix, can you please pull this down? I don't make any money. Yeah. And Netflix made a business decision. Hey, we're going to pull this down because Dave Chappelle's value to Netflix is way more important in the next 10 years than whatever they're going to get from streaming this show. Yeah. So I think he's unique in the sense that it's capitalism, not about signing bad contracts.
Yeah.
So I think there's two different things.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think the bad contract thing.
I don't side with Kanye on the bad contract, and I don't side with Chappelle. What I do side with is Chappelle's more powerful than Netflix to say, pull down my show.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're not going to make me happy, and guess what? My content's not going to be as good.
Yeah.
That's capitalism.
Yes, I agree with that, and I think I don't have a problem with if you got duped into a bad contract, it's ultimately your fucking fault.
Right.
We know that. We've signed many bad contracts.
Yeah.
And I think
and there's a lot of founders of companies that get diluted to 2-3% of the founder of DoorDash owns 4% of the business.
Also, yes. But also, here's my other question. This could be another hour-long debate, but like, not that I don't side with Comedy Central, and I think Comedy Central is stupid for not saying, yeah, you signed a contract, but you became so big, like, let's renegotiate.
That's a bad business decision Comedy Central made.
Exactly.
Yes,
and that's something that, like, when you live your life just black and white by contracts, you can fail that way as a business owner, right?
I mean, think about the brand destruction for Comedy Central in the last 4 days.
Or the brand destruction of not being able to air the Chappelle show on Netflix. Yeah. Like, go cut in Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And then you'll make money forever.
Yeah.
But here's my point is there also is a side of the argument, which once again, I just want a super disclaimer, not on Comedy Central's side. But Comedy Central also, and like record labels, better said with record labels and Kanye, if you look at their stat sheet, they burn a lot of money on bad bets. So when you get a lottery win, it's like at some point, they're also owed that they took the bet.
Yeah.
It's just that when you get to the level of a Chappelle, there needs to be, and I don't know how you would ever tie that into a contract, like at this astronomical number, we get to renegotiate. Yeah. But that's where I think the money, the system isn't set up for superstars.
But I also think it's not about the contract. It's about being fucking smart.
Agreed.
Comedy Central realizing we have the Chappelle show. Agreed. Dave Chappelle's the biggest thing in comedy, period. Yep. Let's give him a piece.
But here's what I'm saying. If moving forward, let's just say you're a new business, whatever. and you want to make a rule to protect against this happening again. And it's something that's on paper. It doesn't have to be a judgment call that day. What would you even do? Because of course, as a business owner, you're going to say, hey, I took 10 bad bets. One became Dave Chappelle. I want my contract to stick.
Yeah, so I think I agree. I think on the contract side, I don't know what you can do, but I think it's more of like who you do business with. If there's an enormous amount of success, why not let everyone eat?
Yeah.
Why do you have to like Comedy Central has milked the Chappelle show for what, 15 fucking years?
Yeah.
Like,
so in that instance, I would say that the person who won the biggest of this whole situation is obviously Netflix.
Yeah.
Because they just publicly, while Comedy Central just got ripped to shreds by Dave Chappelle from a perception point of view, Netflix looks like the compassionate.
Yeah, which is amazing.
I mean, they won. When it comes to getting talent down the road and getting the next Chappelle, when they have options of where to go, they're going to go to Netflix because they see how they treat their talent.
yeah.
And what's funny is I've heard Jason Bateman on podcasts talking about how had Ozark been on a network, he would have made way more money. Because Netflix just pays up front and owns it, and they own it forever.
Here's the other thing that I think is like...
So it's funny that like Netflix is being treated as like this like generous like...
Because Jason Bateman ain't Dave Chappelle.
No, but it's also like it's the way they structure their deal. I mean, it's just funny. Like, let's be clear. Netflix is no like magnanimous person. They made a smart business decision. Let's please Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
The other thing to Dee's point is 10 years ago, Comedy Central could just say fuck you to Dave Chappelle. No one's ever going to hear that we did this. That was never a part of the equation.
Yeah.
It was just fuck you. We'd rather take this money.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that Dave Chappelle can put out a 20-minute video on his Instagram with no one to be in the way of that.
Yeah. That's where the problem is because even if Dave Chappelle it was the part of his skit on Netflix, who knows, maybe it made the cut, maybe it not. I'm sure he has final say, but he just one day just said, fuck it, put it on my Instagram and 10 million people are going to see it.
Well, and in the old days, like it's all Viacom. So like even before
you can't
Netflix,
even go anywhere.
Yeah, no one's going to air that.
Yeah.
No one's going to air him like
bitching,
just airing out another network.
Yeah.
But now you do it yourself. I mean, I will say in all this talk about how bad social media is and stuff like that, that is the example when it comes to like journalists exposing stories or it comes to repressed countries, whatever. Same applies in the entertainment industry that it gives the power back to the people.
Yeah, it was amazing. Love it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's that. That's our weekend as far as content goes.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else we're missing.
No, those are the big. I mean,
I know
I
the
think
finale tonight is of The Undoing, which is all the hype.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm a big fan.
You are?
Yeah.
I haven't watched
Huge
it.
fan.
I have FOMO right now.
I saw Travis Scott tweeted that.
I know.
Yeah, now people care. I've been talking about this for weeks.
Well, you're not Travis Scott. Maybe Zach watches it, then I'll watch it. If Zach watches it, if he tells me to watch it, I'll
go
watch
home
it.
and binge.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the sad news of the weekend that I think we saw a lot of people talk about was Tony Hsieh,
Yeah.
the founder of Zappos.
Yeah, man. He that's someone that like anywhere that you look in like the business world of advice or how to run a good company, his name always comes up.
Always been.
And I think the main thing is his customer service passion.
He's a revolutionary in customer service. And I think that's why ultimately Amazon and Jeff Bezos bought Zappos because, so there's something called NPS score, which kind of, would you recommend this, to someone else? And they've always been known for having the best customer experience. Like free shipping, free returns. I remember when Zappos came out and I was like, free shipping, free returns? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
Like, how do you afford that?
Yep.
And I was thinking so short-sighted. He was thinking, oh my God, the customer's gonna trust me. And I think a lot of the things that Amazon does from a customer service, this is complete speculation, comes from that ethos of like delivering happiness to the customer, which is what Zappos always stood for. And they were definitely like a trailblazer in customer service because think about what customer service meant 20 years ago. It was a miserable experience. Yeah. You knew if you had to, like my experience on Spectrum, like I couldn't order the fight. Yeah. It's a miserable experience.
Yeah, Tony Hsieh would have never let that
Tony Hsieh would have made
sure. Would have bought you tickets to the next fight.
It's also counter to the way I think typically businesses are structured so that customer service is so much friction that you just give up.
Yeah.
and that they can make money off you forever. If you try to renegotiate your internet package, your cable package,
Yeah, that's the business plan.
that's the business plan.
Yeah.
Whether even it's like your overdraft fees on Wells Fargo,
Yeah.
like they make it so miserable to screw you. And Tony Hsieh obviously took the opposite view and built such a great business. But what I'll say, I mean, I've never met him, but I mean, it's unbelievable the stories that you're hearing on social media about him. They lead with this kindness and kind of openness and welcoming of strangers and people of all walks of life in his circle, rather than, oh, Tony Hsieh started Zappos.
Yep.
And that, I think, is a unique thing of a business titan, that most business titans, it's like you lead with, oh, this person built this $10 billion company and that's what he's known for. And every story is kind of starting, hey, he was the kindest person I've ever met. And by the way, he also created this revolutionary business.
That's what, like, you know, I got a long way to go and hopefully I have a long time to do it. But one thing that I've learned as I've gotten older is that's how I want people to talk about me when I die. It reminds me of Kobe. Like when Kobe passed away, you heard all these stories that you never knew about the little things he did that affected people. And all you heard for those few weeks were just stories from people about how he one-on-one touched them. That's all I see. Even your good friend Neil posted a story of coming in contact with him. And all these people just had stories.
I'll share it. He said him and his investment from Green Oaks went to go visit Zappos. And he said they walked, what he initially showed him was customer service. And he said, Tony Hsieh, he didn't know Neil and just knew him as like this important investment person. He said he got teary-eyed, Tony Hsieh did, talking about customers' experience. And then he realized his time was running short and he had to go to a dinner. And he invited the Green Oaks team to dinner. Little did the Green Oaks team know that the dinner was a gala honoring Tony Hsieh with 150 people, and he just sat and talked about customer service.
He's brought these random people.
Yeah. Another person posted a story that one time he tried to poach their customer service person, and Tony called him and said, instead of them leaving, why don't you come here and we'll give you the whole rundown of everything we do.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, once again, in an age where, you know, everyone is vying for the attention to look like a good person, when you see the impact when someone like that passes away and all you see on Twitter. Look, I'm going to be honest. I started looking on Twitter because I was like, what happened? This guy at 46 died in a fire, or like what?
Yeah.
I was so confused. And so I started looking on Twitter and all it was a sea of people sharing their stories.
Yeah. I really want to know, at this point, I saw that he died in a house fire.
Yeah.
It sounds like the fire was 10 days ago, right?
But later, from
November
injuries.
18th, it looks like the fire was, and then he had injuries from the fire. I've never experienced the fire. Fire scared the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, how does this happen?
I don't know.
Like, he's a well-to-do dude. Like, I mean, I'm sure that they had fire extinguishers where they were. Like, how does this?
And a house fire too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
In Connecticut?
I don't know, but R.I.P. to the legend, man.
Yeah.
Super sad.
And he did a lot for downtown Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He invested so much capital.
I mean, downtown Las Vegas was a shit.
And isn't
hole.
Life is Beautiful his as well? Or he's a big part of it?
I'm sure he helped bring it to the city.
Yeah.
But just a big force.
Only 46 did all that.
Yeah, that's wild. He was like in his low 20s when he took on when he started at Zappos, right?
Yeah, because he started Link Exchange
or like 29
first.
or something, maybe.
And Link
20s.
Exchange, when I had my first website in like, I don't know, in the mid 90s, Link Exchange is how you made money. It's like you put banners on your website, and like that alone was a revolutionary thing. What he did back then.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Okay, the other big thing of the weekend that has to do with the internet is Black Friday.
Yep.
So Black Friday, and now we're into Cyber Monday land. You know, I'm guessing we have no stimulus. It's been a year now, this pandemic pretty much. Took a little bit of a dip, right?
So online sales went up 20-something% to $9 billion.
Jeez.
But that's not a lot, because what $9 billion, just to put in perspective of retail, is fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And Shopify is saying, their CEO posted that they processed $2.3 billion worth of transactions on Black Friday. $9 billion is what they're saying the entire internet in America did. Obviously, Shopify is not only America, so it's not a good example of it. And my guess, so Thursday, everyone was closed, right? Your Walmarts were closed, your Macy's were closed, just kind of out of respect. And I went to, on Friday morning, I drove by a mall on the way back from my in-laws in Orange County. And there was no one fucking there. Literally nobody.
So are you saying, that's funny because I was trying to set you up for you to be like, no, biggest Black Friday ever.
I think it was a disaster.
Oh, so you think the gains were modest.
Yes.
And then you take out what happened at retail.
Yeah, I mean, you take out retail. So I'll give you an example. On Black Friday weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is bananas in stores. Doesn't matter. Even Sunday. We used to have stores. That Sunday, after Sunday morning, you would do big business.
Yep.
This morning, I went to the Target at the Beverly Connection with my son. And I wanted to go, we wanted to go a little early just in case. I figured it was going to be busy, just being less busy. We potty trained him, so we wanted to make him pick his own underwear. And if he did, he got a toy. So
nice.
Getting him to, yeah, I mean, quite a production. And I had to get him to wear a mask for the first time.
Oh, man.
I thought he's anti-masker.
He is anti-masker.
Big Trump guy, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I finally I was like, you get a toy. We go into the toy store.
See, that's what the government needs to do.
Yes.
Wear your
true.
fucking mask, you get a toy. It's called a tax break.
Yes, exactly. So he was like, fuck it, I need a toy. Puts on his mask. Kind of was one of those dudes that, the older folks that
nostril.
like the nose is showing. I'm like, no, you got to cover it all up. I'm like, if there's no one around us, you can do that.
I mean, the amount in common that 3-year-olds and 80-year-olds have.
It's mind blowing.
3-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So we walk in. So I pull up to the Beverly Connection. There's like Marshalls. There's like all these stores there, right? Off price too. So it should be busy. Nobody there. This is fucking Target.
But I will say there is a stay-at-home order in Los Angeles.
I understand, but retail is open. Everyone knows.
I
it's
know.
open.
It's just I mean.
Do we have any of the famous like video scenes of like Best Buy people?
The only video I saw was Citadel Outlets, which is out in
Commerce, right?
Yeah, Commerce, slammed. So it looks like the outlets were slammed, but when you look at like Herald Square Macy's, they had a video. There's nobody in there. Target, I cannot tell you. I guarantee you Target on a normal Sunday is busier than it was this Sunday. I literally walked in, nobody to even help me.
Yeah.
Finally got a toy. Nope. Paying took 5 seconds. Nobody in the parking lot except 2 other cars. I mean, this is 9:00 on a Sunday morning. There's no one there.
Yeah.
That's insane. I think retail sales, look, $9 billion is nothing.
So we need overall sales.
I think overall sales, we don't know yet,
Okay.
but I think overall Black Friday retail sales plummeted.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
Curious
And even
what
the
Cyber
numbers
Monday does.
that people are showing, like Targets, and except for Etsy was the big surprise, like 100% jump. All those other stores, there were like nominal increases, and they have physical stores. So online should be like through the roof.
Okay, well, let's see. When it's all said and done and you tie in some Cyber Monday numbers, I'm curious. We won't know till end of next week, but I wonder what the full story is, because there is a lot of, incentive to say record numbers.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll see.
I went to the outlet malls. The one up by Ventura.
Camarillo.
Yeah, those ones. It was actually pretty packed.
Yeah, I think
But
the
only in like
outlets
very
were-
certain stores. But even then,
But I would've
I
still
went
done
into 2
e-com.
stores and didn't get anything. It was not a good experience. I literally went online afterwards and got everything I wanted. I hate the in.
What were the crowded stores at Camarillo?
All the major names. They had
Ralph Lauren.
lines. Yeah, Nike,
Those-
Ralph
there's
Lauren,
only-
Adidas.
There's no stay-at-home order in Camarillo.
Yeah, that's true.
There is one in Los Angeles currently.
And what's
it
with
was-
this new fucking stay-at-home order?
No one
This
knows.
obscure.
yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing here in the office?
We're essential.
We sell masks.
Yes, and
We
are a
sell
media
masks.
company.
We're a media platform.
They're not telling NBC to shut down, are they?
You better tell Jake Tapper to shut the fuck up if you're going to tell me.
Yeah, suck on that.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's so obscure. It's so like, it's like essentially like, hey, please don't gather
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
But like, not
That's a
like it
joke.
was before. Before it was like a little bit more like official.
Yeah.
This just
is
feels
bullshit.
like
It's bullshit. No one's going to follow it.
no one's going to follow it.
No.
I saw, man, I'll tell you one thing. The post-fight celebration for Jake Paul last night was
butts to nuts.
banana.
Where was it?
What?
It's
In
some house
Vegas?
Well, no.
No, the fight was in Vegas.
Or I mean, the
That was at a
fight
house
was
in
in LA.
Beverly
Sorry,
Hills.
you're right.
At a house in Beverly Hills somewhere.
Yeah.
It was every...
I'm sure Taylor was there. I
They're
saw him
dropping-
running with Logan Paul.
Yeah, they were just dropping photos and people on top of each other.
Slam.
Famous people.
Yeah,
All
Well,
the
it's social
YouTube,
media.
the whole social media who's who.
I mean, there's like pictures of him with like there's probably 40 people surrounding him. Just
He's the
tight.
champ.
And there was a video last night because it's making its rounds on the internet because Tekashi 6ix9ine and Gervonta Davis were in the same club together. But the more important part was that they were in a fucking club. And they're like literally just in a packed club, like, I don't know, in Atlanta or wherever they are.
Must be Atlanta.
Just throwing money and like, it's just wild.
yeah.
I mean, so
But here we
video
are, we
of-
can't hang out. I can't go over to Pete's house for dinner.
Do you really
No.
want to go to Pizza
Yeah,
Hut
you
for
don't want
dinner?
to.
That's the
Yeah,
reason.
there's
That's
not
why
really
going
nothing there. Some weird
some Costa
carbonated
Bravas
sodas.
and freaking crackers.
You can come hang out with me and my Indian roommate.
You guys still
We're
don't
pretty
know
cool.
his name?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Vishal or something like
Oh
that.
my God.
Something like that.
Good guy.
Okay, last but not least. What's up? Just some good old-fashioned business news. Salesforce is attempting or about to buying Slack. I just saw. I'm a big fan of Slack,
Yeah,
as
you're a
you
big
guys
Slack
know,
guy.
big Slacker, and saw the stock jump through the roof. Turns out I'm not so big of a fan that I would take a bet on it.
Yeah.
So I had no interest. But there was this huge jump off of the news that Salesforce is buying it.
There's a rumor that Salesforce is going
That's
to
on
make
a rumor?
It's a
That's
rumor.
40% on a rumor?
I mean, here's the thing. The stock first popped because there was a rumor that Salesforce was looking to buy Slack. Then I think people thought the stock went up even more after, word got out that maybe other people should buy it too. So we all looked at the Slack stock, I think a couple of weeks ago, and we're like, wow, it's seasonably low considering fucking useless companies are at record highs. And what's interesting is Slack has actually struggled in the pandemic because Microsoft Teams came in, offered free to everybody, their big corporate clients, and have essentially kind of kicked their ass.
Slack struggled because they went public before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think they'd be valued 2x if they went public in June with the exact same data.
Like Palantir.
Yeah,
Gone up 250%.
why not?
Yeah, Teams is the reason I didn't invest.
Yeah, that was the reason.
It's too scary.
You sat down with Bill and you're like, you know what?
I was like,
Steve
listen,
Ballmer, you had a margarita with
I'm a
Steve
Bill
Ballmer.
guy. You know what I mean? I had my chips started buzzing.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't you dare.
Yeah. I mean, but I think maybe Microsoft will buy it. Why not?
That was always a rumor before the IPO that Microsoft was going to buy it.
Buy it and shut it down.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
What's it to them? What is this? How much is this company? $40 billion? What's
23.
that's like a snack for
Peanuts.
Microsoft. It's a
Steve
snack.
Ballmer's worth 50.
Steve Ballmer can,
Can
buy
buy
Slack.
Slack, yes.
He should.
Still has $25 billion.
And just making a
You should just buy
margarita
Slack.
fucking
Making a
top.
margarita group
Yeah.
where you just share margarita recipes.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There's another, missed out. Peter, you in on that by any chance?
Could have been. I did pull out.
Oh, you were in.
Yes, I was in months ago.
Tim?
No, I said on the pod that you should not buy it.
Oh, you did. Oh, you made a statement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we looked at it when our big investment, which
Yeah.
you haven't been doing too well in.
It just hasn't, it hasn't gone down. It hasn't gone up. You
Oh,
know?
where are you guys at? You guys are just kind of flat?
Yeah, we're flat. We're flat. Apple's been flat.
That's fine.
Okay, that's all. You got to zoom out. You don't
Yeah,
look at the.
I actually was just zooming out and I'm confused because it doesn't seem to be following the trend.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll
Zoom
see.
out, baby.
Yeah, zoom out. Okay. That's it. Let's talk about. We got our Karens of the week this week. So every week we team up with Keeping Up with the Karens, incredible Instagram page, to give everyone our Karen of the week. That's just anyone who's acting like a Karen. By now, if you don't know what a Karen is, you should.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to explain it every week. But I will say that even though Karens are usually middle-aged white women, on our show, they can be anyone. Anyone can act like a Karen. So, D, over the last week, who was acting like a Karen?
This is a big Karen.
Okay.
Gavin Newsom.
Oh, that's mine.
Oh, geez, yeah. Karen him every week
He,
till COVID's gone.
This jackass,
Yeah, there you go. Say it. That was light.
respectfully,
That was very respectful.
Mr. Newsom.
Yeah.
Today is Small Business Saturday. California is home to over 4 million small businesses. This holiday season, shop safe, shop local to help support our economy and the over 7 million workers that help keep our small businesses going. Wow.
He posted that?
He posted that. The day before this, he shut down all the fucking restaurants, outdoor dining in the state.
I'd love to read the replies on that.
Oh, it's insane. There's 10,000 of them, just people cursing at him. You mean the small businesses you're slowly and painfully putting out of business? I don't know how I feel about supporting my local business. Most owners are, just like, these politicians are tone deaf.
You think he's getting off to this shit? It's starting to feel
No,
weird.
I think they're just dumb.
Getting off to it, you said?
Yeah. I think he's finding some
he's
like weird
power
sick
tripping.
pleasure in like doing this.
I think he's finally got power and he's just exercising it.
I think he's just a dummy.
Like, because he just wants to be powerful. Like, that's what I think. I don't think there's any
thought.
There's no science. There's no reasoning. There's no whatever. It's that this guy probably, when do you get, most of the people that get into politics, unfortunately, this may be a jaded perspective, but they're in search of power.
Yeah.
And finally you get this crazy outsized power that you would never get to make these type of calls. And it's too tempting to just sit back and say, I'm not going to use it.
Yeah.
I think he gets off to it.
It's like security guard. You know when you run into that security guard? It's like, look, dude, I get it.
See, that's a
You
guy
have
that
a
gets some
badge,
weird
you don't have a
pleasure from
gun.
it. Yeah. But I think it's a pleasure in a way that like they see those comments and they're like, that gets him fired up.
At least he enjoyed the French Laundry, the most expensive restaurant in the state, indoors with no mask. Good for you, Gavin.
But see, he likes that polarizing stuff. Then he'll go do that, and then he'll lock everybody down, and then he'll put out a post like this, and then he'll see the comments.
I think he's just an idiot in that sense.
I wonder.
I don't think he likes the polarization. I think he's just tone deaf. I think he's just too far removed from what's really going on.
Where does he live?
I don't know. If you want to go hunt him
probably
down,
Sacramento.
The governor of Sacramento, yeah.
that's on you, man. I'm not into
State
I was just
capital.
I'm
curious.
not doxing anyone. I'm not encouraging violence. Pete's trying to go hunt him down. Pete's like, you took away my freaking whatever that place was in
Hey, if
Santa
a white guy
Barbara.
leads this will be good.
The what?
If a white dude leads it, it's fine. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Leads the revolt?
Yes. Gives way for everybody else.
So you can get Jake Paul in on it.
Yeah.
Okay, mine's Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
It's just like, I saw a couple of the little interviews and stuff leading up to this fight, and he really treated it like, come on, man. Like, you think Jake Paul is gonna, you know where I come from, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's, one of the key traits of a Karen is just sort of entitlement or sense of, being better than.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he got about the rudest awakening or sleepening that you can get.
Yeah, it's insane.
So the lesson we all learn, people, is just be careful of...
That white strength.
I think we learned that the last 4 years.
I know better when I see big buff white guys. I walk away.
Haven't we seen those videos of those like Trumpsters beating the shit out of people on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a weird year. Okay. We got some shout outs?
We got a lot of shout outs.
Okay.
We got some really good ones too. Actually one very important one. So please, I'm going to say it at the end, but I want everyone to stay tuned and listen to it because you could be a part of helping this incredible couple. So the first one, I want to wish Abbas Mathur, my number one Menlo Club homie and best bud, a very happy birthday from his favorite Texas Longhorn Chin reality friend, Vinny Chada. Vinny's our buddy from Indian Matchmaker. He's giving a shout out to his homie on his birthday. The next one is from, I believe the Instagram handle is Nothing But Detailing. Shout out to Michael G. He's a mobile car detailer in the LA area. Okay. So just he's been down with the first Young and Reckless event that he came out to. He's a big fan of group chat. And he's offered us.
Brooklyn Projects was the first ever. Remember that?
Yes, that is true.
That's the one he's talking about.
No, I think he's talking about
the conference.
Your conference that you did.
Oh.
Yes. That
I'm talking about like now.
Yeah. He's probably
We
like
aged him
12.
out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
His name's Michael G, and he offered us free car detailing. So,
Well, we'll take you up on that.
we'll take that.
I
Pete, I
never
don't know
have a
why
car
Pete's
wash.
looking at it. I don't think Pete's part of the talent in this one.
Jeez. Yeah, sign me up.
But he's look forward to meeting us and eventually having some tequila. We'll definitely do that, Michael G. So if you're looking for a mobile car detailer, hit him up.
There you go.
Next is our a listener that I actually became friends with, Gopi. He's out in Australia. His wedding anniversary is on December 1st. Is that are we too early for December 1st? No,
Yeah,
we're
so
right on
that's
time.
Tuesday, right?
Okay. Her name's Ina, and she also has a birthday, December 24th, Christmas Eve birthday.
Busy December.
And they're expecting their first child in April. So
Congratulations.
big couple months ahead.
Yeah, big, yeah.
The next is Liam Kavanagh. He is 23
like
years
beer.
old.
I like beer. Do you like beer?
Pronounced slightly, it was spelled a little different.
Okay, sorry.
He's out in London, and he's built a SaaS platform for online coaches, connecting them with their ideal clients. So it's called meetbel.com.
Sounds like a $10 billion company.
This
I
is
said go
something.
public now.
Yeah.
Did you say
SaaS?
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 Did I hear SaaS?
SaaS? Liam looks like you're going to be rich. And
Yeah.
shout out to his homies, Alex and Rob, that helped build it. Congratulations. And I think it's good for people all over the world. So if you're a fitness coach, go check it out. Sass it up.
Sass it up.
Next, we have a birthday shout out to Miriam on November 29th. She's turning 23 years old. Her boyfriend got her hooked up on the pod. And he says, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that because she used to think I was a genius until she realized I get it all from you guys.
Exposed.
Yes. So happy birthday, Miriam. Next is Carolyn Schneller. It's her 28th birthday. She's been listening to group chat since 2018 when she was getting her MBA in China.
China.
So did she bring the Kung Flu over?
Yes, who brought it over? Carolyn has sent us some videos from out there, which is pretty cool. It looks like the country's doing great. She was also living in Toronto, and her boyfriend was in California. She subscribed him to the Menlo Club. Everything looks so good on him. And they just bought their first house in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow.
Quite the journey.
Yes.
Shanghai, Toronto, California, Charlotte, North Carolina.
All over.
Yeah. So Carolyn, happy birthday. 28 and you're already on a home. Good for you.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then here's the big one. So a guy named Kurt messaged me, and from Cincinnati, Ohio,
Okay. OH.
wanted to help out his friend. Been down with Robin Big, down with you guys.
Okay.
Short story long.
Yep.
And he called his friend, has been a Karen for a couple of years. I think that's a mistake, unless
I
he's
hope so.
calling his friend a Karen.
Maybe his friend's entitled and wants to speak to the manager.
Yes. But he wants to shout out his buddy, Jeff Agricola, who started listening to the podcast because of Kurt's recommendation.
Okay.
Jeff and his wife, Tierney, have spent the last couple of years trying to get pregnant and start their family, but recently have learned that they're unable to have kids.
Okay.
After doing a ton of research, they've decided to pursue an open adoption,
What's an open adoption?
which means that they're going to forego using an adoption agency and try to connect directly with a mom and kiddo in need. Working with an agency isn't a bad thing by any means, but it can be a little hard to know who and what to trust. An open adoption relies on good old word of mouth, so this shout out is crazy important. Jeff and T are some of the best people on the planet. They'd make amazing parents and are so excited to think about helping a mama and her child create a brighter future. Jeff is in finance with Amazon Air, and T has a hand lettering business. They live in Cincinnati with their dog, Hunter. Would love for anyone interested in helping this awesome couple connect with their future son or daughter, or just encourage them or follow their journey, to check out Agricola Adoption, so Agricola Adoption on Instagram, or shoot them an email at agricolaadoption@gmail.com.
Man, if we find a baby a home,
That's
That was all worth it.
that's good karma.
I mean, think about our
parties.
stats. Like we probably, there was some relationships started and built stronger. We raised a lot of money for UCLA.
Yeah.
And man, if we find a baby a home, a group chat baby.
Yeah, and Jeff and Kurt listen to this show every week, so thank you for listening. And they also Kurt also reminded us Pete is an idiot.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
reminder.
stocks always go up.
Yes.
Okay.
And longer the episodes, the better.
Wow.
This was a long one.
This was
We're
good
on
for you. Here we are.
I also have a shout out.
Oh, Pete.
Oh.
Kai, Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Kai on our team. Happy birthday to him. 37th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Kai.
birthday, Cobra Kai.
Yes,
I like
Cobra
that.
Kai.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, Cobra Kai is a guy who's running our social now. A lot of people get him confused with me. They go, who the fuck is this Cobra guy?
Yes.
I'm looking for Pete.
Okay.
That's who it
really?
is.
So the fans
Yes.
are looking for Pete still.
Yeah.
Got it. So Cobra's got some work to do.
Got some branding work to do.
Well, happy birthday.
We also have some quick shout out to Cam Bowers, Nick Linder, and Caleb Cook.
Okay.
They all purchased from Menlo Club, all of our different brands. We sent out a tweet. We said, hey, if you can show proof of purchase, we'll give you a shout out. So there you go.
Nice.
Add it on.
Like that.
There you go.
Amazing.
All right, guys. That's all we got.
That's it.
Make sure you sign up for that Grand Running Club Half Marathon. We are down to the wire on sign up time.
1 week away.
Sign up.
Not too late.
Not
What?
too late.
MotoStreetJournal.com. Check out our subscribe to our newsletter. Check out our articles. And make sure you also hit us up on Twitch, Group Chat Pod. We got Behind Closed Doors. We got random Sunday night episodes at times, and we got Thursdays winners losers content. We're building up a good little resume over there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it. Happy holidays, guys. See you soon.
Mm-hmm.